Wow, who do we have here? welcome, J Slayer 211.
Hello, hello. Happy to be here, man. How's it going?
Dude, I'm really happy to do this right now. Also, for people that don't know, J Slayer 211 is a new streamer. Started streaming recently. I'm gonna give him a shout out first of all.
Oh,
Welcome in. Oh, that didn't work. Sec, J Slayer 211. Welcome in, Zalzbab. Yeah, dude. First time seeing J Slayer, I think, right? Yeah.
oh.
But yeah. So I'm really curious. Like how's streaming been for you?
Yeah, I was really quite nervous to take it on for a moment because I had this concept of wanting it to be perfect, right? Wanting it to be just right, nail it in, dial it in, get everything all set up, and then through talking with you and other people, it's just like sometimes you just gotta get started and do it, right? So I was just like, okay, let's get it cracking, let's see what happens, and go from there. So it's just a matter of just getting that initial shove and start. And oh man, the launch of me streaming was, I'll say, for my standards and what I was expecting was wildly successful and truly humbling. Just to have so many people come and be a part of the stream and hang out with me. So that was super nice. A lot of the people that I've met and just, talked with over the course of however many years it's been watching your channel, like some of those same familiar names popping up, and that was nice too. So it was definitely been a great first start. Like I couldn't ask for better out the gate, I don't think.
Very different from what you first expected?
So I think what I first expected was it to be I don't know, I'll say more nerve-wracking, right? Like I expected it to really like kind of be jarring for me because I'm a social person. I'll say that. I am social, so I do enjoy chatting with people, talking with people, but I thought it'd be more like I'm on an island and I'm talking to the void, and it's like kind of weird talking to yourself because sometimes, people will lurk, but you're not really engaging with people who are lurking. And are the people lurking still there, or did they stop lurking? So you don't know. So sometimes it's really cool, but then it's like getting used to the feel of it. But I think I'm enjoying it. I know I'm enjoying it.
Do you notice? Do you notice as well that once you start streaming, that you just, I don't know, you become a bit different, right? Like you start talking. I don't know, or you are naturally a person that would end up talking to themselves in a way. You know what I mean?
So, I do talk to myself, but not out loud. Like, if that makes sense. Like, I'm always talking to myself or saying things in my head. I just don't move my lips in tandem, right? So, for me, I'm always like saying things or coming up with little remarks or actually going through conversations in my mind, even sometimes before I have a conversation with somebody else. So I'm okay with it. But then, there is that desire to still want to engage with other people because I think it's a little weird these days because online gameplay has become a lot more solitary, I'll say, in some regards. You play these games and nobody's on a hot mic, nobody's really engaging. Like everybody's playing their single player multiplayer experience. And it's a weirdly connected but disjointed experience. So I'll say I crave more of that. Oh, okay, we're gonna do this together. We're gonna go have this fun. We're gonna get the team together, have some laughs.
Man,
like
times have changed.
Oh my God, don't say that. I'm already like feeling old as can be. You start off with times have changed.
Times have changed, man. No, for real, yeah. Even the MMOs, massive multiplayer online, have turned into a lot, very much more solo-oriented stuff, which is crazy. I mean, we all come from the same MMO, but it's Elder Scrolls Online. It's very, very noticeable that there's a lot more interest in solo content and stuff, and just everything solo. People actually actively avoid groups too. That's also kind of crazy to me, because I remember being younger, of course. Yeah, I'm gonna have to talk about being younger, but being younger for sure, it's always been oh, who can help me with this, or who can I help, or whatever, right? And now it's just like, okay, but what's the best way of me getting a certain thing, but by myself? Like, there's no other people other people are no longer a factor in what people want. Yes.
Yeah, so
it's crazy.
That came with the gaming boom, right? So like,
yeah,
I'll say gaming it's at its height of popularity as far as how accepted it is and how accessible it is now. So back in the day, everybody was playing a handful of games at the same time, right? Like, so a game came out, the whole world was playing those, 10 to 20 games. Now you have thousands, hundreds of thousands of options. People are getting free games thrown at them every week. Here, take this game, and some of these are like greatest hits, right? Like, these are games you didn't want to miss out on. My backlog is stupid thick, right? Like, it's like you can't game enough nowadays. So it's unique because you introduce that what they call FOMO, is fear of missing out, right?
Yeah.
And you have this wave type of experience with all these new games that are coming out, and they're hot, but the way we consume now has changed too. So, man, you can burn through a game. You're trying to satisfy speed runners at this point, right? Like, you got people consuming hundreds of hours of content in a week or two, so it's like,
crazy.
Now you have to make unbelievably expansive games. That it really does introduce quite a conundrum, because if you spread that game base so thin and everybody's playing over here and playing that and not want to miss out on this, not want to miss out on the new thing, now you have less and less of that player base. Say on ESO, we loved the game, it was fun, but the ebb and flow of the user base dictates how you need to garner that content, whether or not it's for engaging with, hey, you have to have these specific classes and somebody playing this, that, and the other, and you end up with a 40-minute DPS queue time and a millisecond queue time for a healer or a tank, right? Because nobody wants to play those roles, but you still need it because you built the game around it. So now you want to build around more of that solo type of adventure. And I don't know, it takes away ultimately from, I think, what I like to feel, which is that engaged community type of multiplayer aspect, where everybody kind of gets a party going and sets up, and it was a lot of fun when I played.
Speaking of that, do you also miss? Because I definitely miss it. Just the old way of getting together and playing, but actually like being there together rather than just like online and stuff. Because online's also good, of course. Because
it's a mixed feeling.
Mixed feeling, okay.
There's definitely you miss that in-personness, right?
Yeah.
But the experience of the in-person experience was so underwhelming that it just wasn't worth what you lost, right? So right now, sitting in front of my screen, I'm sitting in front of a 34-inch ultra-wide curved monitor with ultra-crisp display, and like, I got the great, well, I'm saying great, it's a great system to me. I enjoy my PC, and then I could go and play split screen on somebody's crappier TV somewhere with a controller that may not work very well. You get the crappy guest controller, right?
Yeah. Oh my God, it's really bad.
You're trying to be performant on the screen that split with this person you're competing against, who's peeking at your gameplay. Like, come on, like, are we really? So, no, I don't know. Like, there's certain aspects to it definitely you miss. But overall, was the juice worth the squeeze on that one? I'm gonna say no, and I'll definitely prefer to be online. And right now, with how ubiquitous webcams are, like, dude, everybody's got a webcam.
That's true.
How can we not feel engaged?
It's also different times. It's different times because right now, like, everyone has proper PCs to game on, and like you said, microphones are good as well, because if you remember early days of gaming, nobody had a good mic. You could barely hear, like, people would have a fan on and stuff.
Oh yeah,
it was really bad. Yeah, Stein said that's one of my favorite memories playing Mario Kart on the Wii. That was amazing. And you always get the worst controller. Yeah, speaking of worst controller, in my friend circle a long time ago, there was a very notorious controller that was so bad that the cable was kind of broken but still put together. And I remember it was my dad or my grandpa at the time, because obviously we can't buy a new one. So then they put like a bamboo thing around it. So they wrapped actual bamboo around it so it's like firm, and then they taped it so that it would stay straight as well. And then you'd have to be very lucky that it would still stay connected. Yeah, it was one of those controllers.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
don't know. Like, I think console, and I don't want to stoke any console PC war comments, but console, man, people were I'll say much more likely to be on a live mic when I was playing console primarily. Yeah.
Okay.
This was so let me give you circa Modern Warfare 3, Black Ops 2 type of time frame when I was playing Call of Duty, first person shooters primarily. Man, the lobby was always lit, especially on a weekend. Oh my God, it was like a block party. And I think that's what actually made the game so wildly successful. Like, they had this channel on YouTube, and it was all about people that you would catch on a hot mic raging after they got killed. Yeah. And man, that channel blew up, dude, because everybody was laughing so hard at like some of these responses from hot mics and everything after you kill a person, but also just some of the back and forth in the lobby. It was good. It was fun. I met some people that had clans and all this other stuff to further push social engagement. But now I just, it feels a little, like I said, a little less of that. But I still enjoy gaming to this day, man. And the backlog is just, it's getting deeper and deeper. Finding the time is the tricky part, right? So if I were fortunate enough to be able to do this full time, I could probably keep pace with some of this stuff. But man, games are dropping every other week, and these aren't bad games. These are like these are like AAA titles, AA titles, and even some of these great indie games that look really, really interesting. Now you've introduced me to Cult of the Lamb.
Cult of the Lamb, very fun. Yeah.
That game looks legit, man. I played, and not to run away with the conversation, but I played Enter the Gungeon was a game I was introduced to by my stepson. And man, I played it on Switch. I got the physical copy. I love that game. It was very fun. And it was a overhead dungeon crawler, but it looked very similar to the way you've been playing Cult of the Lamb. It looked very similar to me, in the way it felt, but that's more of a bullet hell game, not really like the level of what you're playing right now. But
there was another game that I also liked playing. It was also a shooter, so it wasn't top down or anything, but it had like, it was a roguelite. Oof. What's it called again? Hang on, I'm gonna ask. Sorry, question. You remember the game that we played together? Shooter, make your own build, roguelite. No. Okay, I'm gonna have to find this. Sorry to distract. I will find this. It is called Gunfire Reborn. There we go. Gunfire Reborn, I can also highly recommend.
Dude, they just took it out of Xbox Game Pass.
Oh, they did? Oh, no.
Yeah, it just left on the 31st, the end of this month. I thought I had recommended that to you, and I was telling you I was going to try that out. But
years ago I played it,
Dude, I downloaded it and never played the dang thing.
Never?
Dude,
but if you have it downloaded, can you still play it? Or no?
No, they removed the download. They removed the download once they take it from Game Pass. It's gone.
Oh, damn.
So, the cool thing is though, and I wanted to talk to you about this too, because I definitely put a pin in this for later, just to get your like thoughts on Game Pass now that you've been playing Game Pass for a little bit. But before we get into that, what I was gonna say, what was I gonna say? Dang it, you made me forget already. Oh. I forgot just that quick. But no, I did want to give Gunfire Reborn a try, but I think that's a part of the challenge with managing um, this unwieldy thing called Game Pass. It
Yeah.
is it is rough and
Too
tumble.
much.
There are tons of games. Like there's so many games you're inundated with that you do want to play, you do want to check out, you do, and man, the time is not there to enjoy it all. So you definitely feel that fear of missing out. So now you have to start making choices. Which game am I going to play? Which game am I going to finish?
Yeah.
Always choices.
I'm trying to get it. Oh yeah, here we go. Yeah. Got the German one. Oh yeah, Xbox Game Pass, man. So I definitely have to say that years ago when I first started streaming, I like always promoted Xbox Game Pass to other people. Not because of a sponsorship or anything, but I genuinely thought there were enough games there that's definitely worth the money. Because back then you paid like $1 for the first month or something, and then like what was it? Yeah, something like that, and then like maybe $5. Now I think it's $10 now. I'm not sure, but it's still worth it because over the years I've not actually had Game Pass active for a while, but when I did a long time ago, there were like a couple games that were definitely worth it, like Gears of War, for example. I'm just random games, Halo and all the usual stuff. That's always worth playing. But then when I recently got Game Pass, yeah, especially with Starfield having come out on it as well. What other games? I mean, if you like car stuff, Forza Motorsport, I guess. There's so many games with really high value on there right now that's definitely worth playing. I'm really happy to have purchased or subscribed to the Xbox Game Pass for sure.
So I just remember what I was going to say. So
yeah,
with Gunfire Reborn and any of those other games, and this is one of the other like good benefits of Game Pass. And I'm not selling it. I'm not sponsored or anything like that. I get that, like it sounds like that when people start talking about it, but some of those good things are really quite good. But if there's a game that comes to Game Pass and you want to buy it, you get 20% off of that game.
Okay, like, this does sound like a sponsored deal. No, but it is good. Yeah, it is good.
Like, yeah, like getting 20% off of all the games that come through Game Pass, that's kind of a sweet deal. So even if I wanted to pick up Gunfire Reborn and they were warning us, and they did tell me that it was going away, I could have bought the game for 20% off before it left. So shame on me for missing the boat. But like it does give you a lot of flexibility in saying, okay, I wanted to play that game. I played it. I had the experience. I didn't care for it. I don't want to have it permanently, but it was cool. So you had the experience, and that's something nobody can take away from you short of amnesia. But other than that, like, yeah, you get to have those moments. You get to enjoy the time you have with it. I do. So I came into Game Pass when it was cheaper.
Yeah. Where Stein mentioned that it's really overwhelming as well, which I also agree with. Yeah, it's a lot of games. It's a lot of games.
Yeah, it's a lot of games. Oh, hey, Disabled One, welcome in. But yeah, it can be overwhelming. Like I said, the backlog is stupid right now. So I have games I've purchased, and then I have all of these games that they're constantly bringing in and out and rotating in and out, which is a good thing in my opinion because it keeps things fresh, right?
Yeah.
It keeps things from feeling stale. And sometimes for me, I'll go into something gung-ho, I'm all excited and I'm ripping and roaring out of the gate, right? And then I get bored with it and I'm ready to switch to the next game, right? So, yeah, that's what ended up happening with several games for me. But guess what? There was another stack of games being added to the library every month, and on top of that, they're adding stuff to the EA subscription as well. Which I think at the ultimate tier you get the EA. I don't know if you get EA on PC only, but anyway, it was like I get an EA Pass subscription and an Xbox Game Pass for all included. And I can play these games on my Xbox upstairs when I'm on my TV sometimes. So, yeah, why not, right? Like, stretch my dollar to the nth degree. So, I do like it. like it.
Then speaking of Xbox Game Pass, what games are you enjoying at the moment? And what can we expect on
Oh,
your channel as well?
okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So I initially, my debut was with Payday 3. And I anticipated maybe playing Payday 3 quite a bit with friends and engaging in that game, but I don't know, like it just didn't grab me. It didn't hold
Yeah.
me. So when I looked at the concept and a lot of what was in the game, it was, hey, we have this, this, and this, but we're not going to tell you anything about it. You got to go figure it out. And it's like, oh my God, lack of information is not a level of difficulty, right? And
Yeah.
that's part of a frustration for me, is that instead of creating, I prefer challenges that are complex, not tedious. So if the challenge is, hey, you need to figure out what series of skill sets to use to complete your task, great. But no, I don't want you to tell me, hey, you need to figure out what the skills do first. We're not going to tell you anything about those. And then you need to figure out which skill sets to use to actually accomplish the task. And it's like, not fun.
Yeah.
So again, this is probably like showing my age too much. I come from a time where games came with booklets, right? And in
I
that
remember,
game
yeah.
booklet, it told you all of the buttons and controls and everything, and all of the, and even had little tips, right? So like I'd be playing a game, and people who didn't read the booklet would be like, "Hey, how did you do that?" And it's like, "Oh, it's in the book, bro." But at the same time,
Yeah.
like I didn't have to go figure that stuff out. Like that was just basic information. So if you think back to like Elden Ring, and they take you into that tutorial area, before you even get to the tutorial area, you are brought to a boss.
Yeah.
It's meant to just slap you.
Yeah.
And it's like, bro, you didn't even tell me what the buttons do. Like, that's not difficult. That's not difficult. Like, there was no challenge there for me because I didn't have a thing to do in the thing. So it's like, oh, okay, we're going to demolish you and then tell you what the buttons do, which is like, oh, okay. So it's kind of like that thing with the butterfly in Lies of P, right? You're told to follow the first butterfly, but you're not told that you're supposed to kill the butterfly until it disappears. It's like, that's not difficulty.
Yeah.
it's just bad development, right? So I'm looking for more of those type of thoughtful games that really challenge the mind and the physical ability of actually accomplishing a thing, not the tedium of, oh, we just put it out there and didn't do a proper tutorial. So now that's heralded as like this new difficulty. And it's like, no, that's not difficult, bro. It's just lazy. Like back in the day, you used to have to come up with a great system to engage the user, get them started up and quickly, and actually take them through the basics. And if you didn't want to go through the basics, you can skip it. That's fine too.
Yeah, I wanted to mention a game that I recently played was Exanima, which I'll show here as well. I don't know exactly how to describe it, but it's just a physics-based permadeath dungeon crawler. So when you swing, your swing actually has to connect in order for it to do damage, kind of thing. And then obviously it's very wonky with how you walk and stuff, because I mean, I guess, yeah, you can see it kind of here. But anyway, what was really interesting though, and that kind of brought me back to what you said as well, is the fact that this game had some puzzles that required you to actually be creative about figuring out a solution. So you had certain puzzles with levers that open doors, but they would close the moment you pull them. So you had to think of a way to jam them. So then you have to grab something else and then actually try to jam it in there with like actually moving like I used the plank, for example, with jamming a plank on top of the lever, that kind of stuff, which is kind of cool. And that's definitely I kind of miss that approach in games where like you can just be creative with figuring out things, for sure. This was obviously puzzle oriented, but it could also be combat wise, where like it's not necessarily like in Elden Ring, for example, you have the options of using all the kinds of weapons, and it doesn't really matter what type of weapons you use. If you want to make it easier, of course, then yeah, there's certain things that work better. But I miss that in games a lot, because nowadays in games I feel like everything is kind of handed out to you. Like, I don't know, Like, for example, if you have a boss fight, it's like, okay, here's a gimmick of this one weapon. Just use this weapon, press a button, and then the boss dies. It's like that kind of ruins it. I like the creative input of like figuring out a way of how to complete certain objectives. Yeah.
Absolutely. When I think about things like that, so let's take Elden Ring for example, and let's juxtapose that against something like Lies of P.
Yeah.
So, Lies of P, very linear, very handholdy.
Yeah.
Go down this road. There are some offshoots to collect items, and you can upgrade your weapons and mix and match to a certain degree. So it's very straightforward experience. Elden Ring, on the other hand, wide open world, go where you want, just do what you want to do, go here, go there. And that, to me, was overwhelming in a sense. Just like saying Game Pass was overwhelming. I felt overwhelmed with all of the choice and 90% of the choices being wrong, right? So it was like an artificial choice, right? Like, oh, well, you're level 1, you can go out and go to any part of the world and get slapped. It was like you weren't going over there and just owning the boss. No, it wasn't true in a sense that you could just go at level 1 and do anything. Yeah, you got some of these people who have put like a gajillion hours in the game who go butt naked and beat bosses and stuff with the stick, right? Mm-hmm. But I'm not trying to be a career Elden Ringer either. I want to play the game, I want to experience the game, and I want there to be somewhat of a happy medium between those types of experiences from, say, an Elden Ring and a Lies of P. So I don't want it to be so limited as Lies was, but I don't think I want it to be so falsely open as Elden Ring was. So on my playthrough of Elden Ring, well, my initial playthrough when I actually got it going, I explored a little bit, and one of the first few chests I was able to open teleported me to the other side of the world. And I was in an area that was slapping the hell out of me, bro. I was teleporting me to hell as far as I was. It's just like, what? So now, dude, I'm on the other side of this acid world where, every step you take is murder. So it was a little, like, okay, guys, I get it, I guess. But also there were things like, oh, well, everybody knew where the hub was, right? What hub? I never made it to it. I played through more of the game than I think I was supposed to before I knew about the hub. And I was like, oh, okay, well, let me backtrack and go get that, because these are the type of things that you can overlook, right? Yeah. Oh, you don't rest at the right waypoint. Oh, you missed out on this cutscene that was supposed to take you to this person that was supposed to tell you about this. Okay. So we need a little bit more than what they did, but I did love the world that they created.
I agree with what you said there, because also I've learned a lot about the lore and certain quests. I've learned that more from other people than I have from actually playing the game myself multiple times. That's the crazy thing, because there's no, like, I wish, because the lore is kind of interesting. To me, I'm not much of a lore person in general, but for that game, I do find it interesting enough to actually watch some YouTube videos about. But I did find out that, like, playing it myself, there were a lot of quests that you would just straight up skip or, like, did not know about, because you're not really pushed in that direction. So, like, there is a lot of freedom in the game, which is good, but I also feel like in terms of questing and to get you more engaged into the lore, that they should do a little bit better job with connecting things so that it makes sense as to, like, okay, now I have to go here kind of thing, because it is really, really free.
I like games that say, hey, you're about to go into the next chapter. Are you done doing everything you need to do here?
Oh, I see, yeah.
That's all you need to do, is let me know that, hey, this is about to jump to the next level. Any of these quests or exploration that you wanted to do, get it done now, because this world may not be the same by the time you come back to it in the storyline, which is fine with me, right? So I've been playing Sea of Stars, which was
Sea of Stars?
One of my favorite games. It's Sea of Stars. And it's a JRPG.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, yeah. You,
Really
you told me about that.
straightforward
Yeah.
game as well, right? Very linear, but at the same time, wide open in exploration and very clear with, hey, this thing is about to change. What?
I clicked on the wrong link. I got into like some illegal key thing. Yes,
Yeesh.
by accident.
But no,
But
the game was very wide open. Like you get to a point where you can go and explore and check out all these different places. That was cool. But at the same time, they'd confirm before they went to that next area, hey, are you ready? Is your team ready to go on to the next chapter? And that would let you know, hey, if you want to do some quests or you got anything you need to go check on, go do it now. And it was cool because I was able to do a lot of those side quests that I wanted to go finish and complete. And was like, oh, okay, great. That's my way of knowing that, okay, this is about to take me into a next phase. And it's a smooth way to do it without disrupting the experience of playing the game.
yeah. Yeah. I kind of miss that as well. Playing those more story driven games for sure. I haven't really done that in a long ass time. I think maybe I don't know. I don't know. Have you played Starfield at all or no?
I played like maybe 3 hours.
Not much.
I was disappointed.
Yeah, I still haven't played it at all. I'm slowly leaning towards trying it out.
I didn't. Let me say this. I didn't hate it,
Yeah.
but I didn't love it. There was nothing that was like, man, I want to go to every planet and scan every plant and every insectoid. No, I don't really. That didn't draw me so much. The environment, the ambiance they create, and then the first mission or so, really good, man. The settings feel really real. But no, I didn't. I don't know. Nothing just really stood out to me. Like I want to do this every day. I want to come back to this every day.
Yeah.
Oh, but let me just.
Yeah.
No, go ahead. I'll.
I was just gonna read what Stein said, but Stein said what's also an annoying thing was when the tutorial was only given by text, no training, just text you need to read.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I would partially agree for my own experience because sometimes I feel like I'm not being really that bright because it is being said what to do and then I just don't really do it. But there's also definitely times where it would be nicer to like have like a video up, like for example like a blocking mechanic in Lies of P, like a better show of like, okay, this is the exact moment of the iframe, right? Because that they don't really show you that. You just kind of have to figure that out. So something like that would be nice, yeah, where it's not just a text of like, hey, press this button to block. That would be nice, yeah.
Yeah, it's weird though.
Yeah.
It's a mixed bag because for some people, like so myself, in my day to day, I'm in IT, information technology, so I work with a lot of computers and stuff. But primarily, I'm an engineer and I break down technical documentation, right? So I'm looking at walls of text all day, right? So for me, looking at some blurbs of text, I can read through those very quickly,
yeah,
and move on to the next thing and be fine, right? But some people prefer a visual approach, which is absolutely okay. And even then, so some prefer an interactive approach, right? So you're actually doing that thing at that time. More times than not, though, I find when they do interactive approaches, you have so many blobs popping up on your screen at the same time that you're
that's also true.
read
Yeah,
in like a second and a half before it's gone forever. And it's like, dude, I don't know what was that? Like, it's like, okay, press A to jump. Bloop, 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 bloop. You can check this. You can look at that. And it's like, wait a minute, whoa, calm down, sir. I need to know what those things said. But yeah, I don't know.
I think MOBAs do it really well because with MOBAs, let's say Smite or something, you're brought to like a skill thing, right? And then you can see a video as to what the skill exactly does too at the same time while the text is there too. I think that's a really good approach. And it doesn't really overwhelm you with stuff that you have to learn because if you're done with that skill, you just move on to the next skill and then learn it that way. So I like how Smite does it, for example. Yeah, if you're new to Smite, that's really nice.
Oh man, so to get to your point about what type of games you can expect to see on my channel.
Yeah.
I've played a wide variety of games, and I found that I haven't played all of the varieties of games. So this year was my first soiree into Souls-likes. I had not played Souls-like games before. So it was like, wow, that's a completely new experience. And it's kind of exciting to have these new genres of gaming that are bubbling up to the surface to me. Anew. So primarily I used to play first-person shooters, which was fun. Great after work action, pick up the sticks, grab a shotgun, and run into an arena, right? But now it's like, okay, I'm opening up my eyes to all of the different types of games, and I primarily will be a variety streamer. So I don't think I'll be married to any particular one genre or type of game, but I do want to explore more of those types of games and those genres that I haven't particularly played the most of in the past. So that being Souls-likes, ARPGs, and right now, I guess you'd call this a horde shooter, which is what I've been playing with Darktide.
Oh yeah,
40K Darktide, which makes me feel really reminiscent of Call of Duty's Zombies and the Alien type of play mode that they used to have, right? So it was very familiar to me in that sense. Like, you had these people who had to go through and do these little missions and survive and everything else, and you had to fend off these waves of the swarms of enemies and bosses. Hello, Ken. But yeah, those are the type of games I'm looking to play. So you'll probably see a lot more of that. Right now, I'm kind of stuck in with Darktide. I've been enjoying that. But if you have any recommendations or good games that you know of coming out, or
good
you
games
want to suggest, I'm definitely open to it. And you know, I'm a game passer, so if there's a game on Game Pass that you play that you think would be right up my alley or I'd like, hey, let me know. I'm open to checking it out.
Are you into card games at all? Or no?
I love card games. Dude, I play Hearthstone.
Oh,
what are you talking about?
Oh yeah, true. Slay the Spire. I mean, you probably already played it, right?
I already played Slay the Spire.
Yeah, Slay the Spire.
Yeah.
I recently found out Monster Train because of that Xbox Game Pass as well. Monster Train was kind of dope too. Have you heard of that one?
Train.
Yeah.
No.
Okay, Monster Train is basically like Slay the Spire. I really had a good time playing that. I'll show a bit on the stream now. But
yeah, I'll check that out.
Yeah, so it's the same way with like get cards, upgrade cards, whatever, make your own deck type of thing, and then you play it, with the only difference being that you have to protect I don't even know how to explain this. But yeah, basically Slay the Spire-ish. It's really good. I can recommend it for sure. I will however say that it feels like it's a little bit less. It feels like Slay the Spire had like a child, and the child is very young in development. There's not much to it yet. But I don't know how long the game's been out for, but it's definitely enough content to give it a try for sure. That's all I'm gonna say about that. Yeah. And I really wish that there would be more games like that too. Yes, card stuff.
Also, if you're on Z's Discord, in the self-promo section, I added a link to my Xbox profile to be added to a friend. So if you do have the Xbox app or play any of the Xbox games or on Game Pass, you can add me there. That link will be good for about a week. And yeah, if you're looking to join up and play some games, I'm always open, man.
Yeah. Stein mentioned Medieval Dynasty.
Medieval Dynasty.
Yeah. Now I've actually seen gameplay of that before. I think from what I remember from reviews and stuff, people said that it was like a little bit too slow paced. But I mean, like, what are you gonna expect from a game like that, right? But if there's a co-op mode, that should be really fun. Sorry. Yeah. Have you ever heard of that game?
Oh, about to check it out now.
Yeah, starts out slow but gets faster later. Yeah.
Oh my God! Speaking of, dude, I ended up quitting out of Wo Long.
Oh yeah, how's that game? Damn, I've heard from that one.
It wasn't. So it's on Game Pass if you ever want to check it out. But the countering system. People talk about how tight the windows are in Lies of P, and they complained and they got it nerf, but I was like, dude, you have no clue. Like, you've never played Wolong.
Yeah.
Wolong, oh my god, you have to be, I mean, frame precise. Like, you probably have maybe 10 frames at most to hit.
Yeah.
Your it's gross. And their red attacks, their fury attacks. So like the fury attacks in Lies of P, you would just run away from them sometimes and they couldn't reach you, right? And that was nice. Not in Wolong, bro. Like, they teleport to where you are. So if you run, they will fly right to you and hit you 100% of the time. The only time you can get out of their way by not pairing it was line of sighting. And there were very few line of sight opportunities. So you'd have this boss jump up in the air and hit you with something that was likely to be like a one shot, right? It was so oppressive. I ended up learning a method to parry that would allow me to block as well. So if you hold the block and then hit the parry while you're blocking, if you don't land the parry, you will still block the attack. But the problem was the red attacks are unblockable.
Yeah.
So, if you didn't get that parry off, sad days.
Yeah. Have you played Sekiro by any chance?
No, I didn't.
Okay.
I hear Sekiro was really tough, but
yeah, because I'm wondering what Sekiro is like versus Wolong then, because I don't know anyone that's played both.
So oddly enough, and I'm probably going to trigger a lot of people. This is a hot take here.
Okay.
I think Souls players are probably some of the worst players of video games. Like the stuff that they've been complaining about in their games, I'm like, dude, that is not even a problem. This is easy.
Okay.
Like, so let's go back to Wolong, right?
Yeah.
People were like, oh, this sucks in this game and this sucks in this game. It's like, well, one, you're not using your weapon switch parry. So they had a weapon switch parry. So if you parried, it would switch your weapon and perform a counter attack at the same time. So people were complaining about not having enough attack windows because they were always either blocking or parrying. It's like, well, if you're using your parry attack, then you'd be switching into a stronger weapon more times than not, and also getting off a counter attack while avoiding damage. You're just not using the game mechanics. So the frustration for me became with a lot of the requests for nerfs and buffs and changes to games. I love that, to some extent, those things can be dialed in. But again, games used to be, here's your game, play it.
Yeah.
Like, if you can beat it, beat it. If you can't, kick rocks, right? Now it's like, I can't beat the game. Make it easier for me. And it's like,
yeah, it's a bit crazy. Yeah.
No, no, like stuff that's broken, great.
It's actually not even that big of a hot take that you had, because I also agree, because so obviously we've all read what people think of Elden Ring and all that other stuff and all other games that are similar to it. But when you actually watch an average person on Twitch play these type of games, you notice that a lot of times that people aren't really learning properly, because you'll see a lot that they just like they spam roll dodge, or like they actually try to hold block at all times when like you're supposed to, let's say, do a perfect block or something, but out of panic that they just hold block and then that's it, like they just freeze up. And I do notice that as well, that a lot of average people definitely do not try to learn there, so they don't really do that properly. They don't learn the way you should, which is like, if you lose, right, you kind of think about like, okay, maybe this attack is like, let's say it's 2 attacks, then I dodge, or let's say 1 attack, I dodge, and then I can hit him once, right? That's how most people, I would assume, would think about it. Yeah.
Well, one of my personal favorites are the greedy attackers.
Yeah.
So these are the people who greed
I'm one of them.
so hard, and they get mad when a boss hits them back, and it's like, bro, like, what were you expecting? Did you think you're just gonna spam X the whole time?
Yeah.
Right? You're just gonna hold down?
Yeah.
Just W key enjoy your left click only?
Yeah.
No, there are buttons to be pressed.
You know who the worst offenders are for that in Elden Ring? Magic people, because they will spam all the magics they can and they will not do anything else. They will not roll out of the way.
Yeah. That's bizarre to me, because it's like, dude, you had to expect an attack coming back at some point in time, right? No clue. But I do enjoy the Souls games, man. The ones I've been playing. Elden Ring was fun. I didn't finish it. I got to go back to it. But like I said, my backlog is so dumb right now. Like I still have The Witcher 3 to complete, and I really want to play that game. I
still have to play that too. Yeah, it's been years. It's been years. Like I've had it in my library. You too, probably. You already have it.
Yeah, I already have it. I bought it on sale. It went on sale the other few months ago, and I was like,
oh, okay,
I gotta get it.
Yeah,
so I had it on PlayStation, dude. It's so crazy. Redbox. I don't know if you guys have Redboxes over there. The Redbox is a kiosk that would sit outside of most of our drugstores in the USA, and you could rent DVDs from it, right? So you can rent movies and Blu-rays and stuff like that. Well, then they decided to jump into games at one point in time, so you could rent games, and it'd be like $1 or $2 to rent a game for a day, right? So
that must have been a long time ago.
So dude, they were really in a position. They could have been the next Netflix, but I digress. So they ended up selling some of their games and movies and stuff when they were rotating them out of stock. So I'd end up buying games from the Redbox dirt cheap, like $5 You buy a game. It was nice. So I ended up buying The Witcher 3 from him for $5. Never played it. Shame on me, but I had it. Well, I started a playthrough on it, and it was fun, but I don't know. I just never had time. Like I said, I started off so gung-ho with stuff, and then next thing you know, life. And you got all this other stuff to do, and you come back and like, oh, well, I kind of want to play this new thing that's out now.
Yeah, and people have always said that The Witcher 3 is definitely part of the top 3, 10, whatever of best games of all time even. And I've still never
so much praise.
Yeah, I've only played it for like, I think maybe an hour at most or something. And it's not because I didn't like it, it's just I had other stuff to do at the time too. And I never really get back to it. Yeah.
I played through Fable, and I love that series too, and I love the storytelling of Fable. It kept me in there, just wanting to see what was the next thing.
Yeah.
I want to get. I don't think it'll be appropriate for my channel for like story type of stuff, but I do want to play more community type of engaging games that really are like, okay, you want to play some games? I want to play some games. Let's hop in. Let's do some poker. Let's go do this. Let's go do that, or play something else, and really engage more with, say, my audience or whomever that's in the crowd to have a good time.
That is kind of, I will say that is kind of difficult. I'm not gonna lie, but it also depends on what you are as a person. Because for me, for example, it's hard because I swap games a lot, so that therefore people that would like to play certain games with me, they might not have the chance because they missed out on one day, and then now I'm already playing another game, for example. But if you were to actually like focus on more community games, I'm pretty sure that you could do it. Yeah, 100%. You could form your own community that wants to play games together all the time. For sure.
Oh, by the way, just gonna make mention, it looks like you turned on requests to join your stream. You probably don't want to have a request on. People can join request to join your stream.
Yeah, they can request, but I still have to allow them, right?
Approve it and everything. Yeah, but
I'll pause. Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Banner.
There we go. Ask Jslayer what the best console controller is, and why is it actually a Nintendo 64? Wait, did you talk about that before with him?
Okay, best console controller, hands down. The hot take, but facts have to be. You just have to go with the facts. It's GameCube.
GameCube controller. GameCube controller. What? But it's like, what?
Trolling, bro. Trolling.
Like, oh, you troll? Okay, I was about to say yes. Like, huh?
GameCube had the worst controller.
Yeah, I was about to say.
Controllerdom. The best controller. You're probably not gonna guess. Any guesses?
Xbox controller, the Duke.
You think Xbox? Okay.
No. I'm assuming because I don't know.
N64. Wow. No.
Yeah.
That was a 3-pronged nightmare. Best controller, hands down.
60.
Dreamcast.
Dreamcast. Wait.
It was the best.
Dreamcast controller.
It was on its way to having, man, like if they had if they had the right layout and improved on that just a little bit more, it'd have been so good.
Isn't this basically a Switch?
Controller,
or no?
Look at that controller. So all it needed was a secondary stick. But
yeah,
here's the thing, and look at that. Look at the save card on that controller. Do you see that, Z?
Save card?
Yeah, scroll up a little bit. There was you'll see the little card sitting next to it. Yeah, there you go.
Oh yeah,
there's a little card sitting next to it.
Oh yeah,
that was a little display screen.
Yeah,
and it was actually a controller too. So you see the little buttons on it. You can play games on that screen. So you also could put that on a keychain, right? And you take it with you, and then you and your buddies would have like what they call them, Tamagotchi monsters and stuff, and you could fight your little buddies at school or whatever with your controller memory card. Dude, that was so fun. Also, this solved part of the problem we had in the discussions earlier, right? Your buddy looking on your screen. So, hey, we're playing a football game. You're watching what play I picked. Well, they actually integrated it into the controller. You could pick your play on your controller.
Oh.
So they didn't see what plays you were picking, right?
Damn.
So it was really ahead of its time. Like it had that familiar shape that most controllers have all adopted now. So like they just soften up some of the edges, add another thumbstick, and that probably is the best controller known to man. I don't know why no one really bought the idea of having a display on the controller taken from Dreamcast. That was a win. I don't think the touchpad on the PlayStation controller makes sense to me at all.
I never understood that. Yeah.
Like, oh, I need to aim. Let me use my touchpad. No way, bro.
Yeah.
Nobody uses the touchpad for anything. So it's really the most wasted space on a controller. I didn't care for the thumbsticks being like right next to each other. So a lot of the times you'd either have thumbs bumping into one another or something like that. Dude, I can tell you how Dreamcast died. It broke my heart. That was one of the best systems ever. It probably was the best system that I will see in my lifetime because it was so innovative. This was around the time where consoles were making that switch from dial-up, which was the old 56K modems, into broadband. And you could play online with high-speed internet connections. Oh, it was crazy. Man, I was one of those people, I was an early adopter because I've been in technology over 20 years now. I started right out of high school into IT. So I loved it. And man, I got on the Dreamcast and I played high-speed matches and multiplayer, played Phantasy Star Online with all these people who were in the lobby playing soccer together. Like, it was so socially engaging. The thing that killed Dreamcast, however, was also the internet. Dude, it was easy to hack. So everybody was bootlegging those games. Imagine a gaming console where, like, as soon as the game came out, there were files online that you could download from a torrent and just rip it and go play it. And I'm not even talking about playing it offline. You play it online too. So they weren't realizing those sales that they needed to from the games to keep the whole company alive, right? So a lot of these companies, they give the hardware away, right? Basically, they're taking a loss on the hardware in hopes they can recoup on software sales, right? So it's where they plan on making the money. At least that's what was the old model.
Yeah.
But when you give the hardware away for next to nothing, you spend all the time and energy on innovation, but you don't reap that reward from the software sales. You're kind of stuck.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love the Dreamcast. It was one of my favorite. I love the OG Xbox. OG Xbox probably the most underrated. Like,
yeah, I think, no, I agree. I 100% agree.
Pretty close with Dreamcast. Like Dreamcast was, everybody loved it. Okay, when 2K was a thing, that was when 2K came out, and that franchise just blew up the sports scene. Everybody was playing 2K on Dreamcast. It was just everybody was doing it. But I thought they had a lot of good innovation in what they were doing with the Dreamcast. And
I like that a lot. This idea of the controller and stuff. I actually did not know about this. I'm gonna be honest.
Oh wow.
The oldest thing that I remember was I think this one. I'm not sure. I don't even know how to pronounce it. Super Nintendo Entertainment System. There you go. Yes, that one or the this one. Nobody seems to know this one, but the Atari Lynx. I don't know. Do you know that?
If you had to make me choose between SNES and something that was circa its time, it's definitely going to be Sega Genesis.
Genesis.
6 buttons. Yeah, they put the 6 buttons on the control pad, and that was a game changer because if you play any fighting games, there was light punch, medium punch, heavy punch, right?
Yeah.
You had to have those 6 buttons on the face for a fighting game. So this was the closest you came to like having an arcade stick, right? Without without spending the.
Oh yeah, I see here now. Yeah, this
having those 6 buttons was kind of a game changer for people who like fighting games. So, fighting game players definitely gravitated towards the Sega Genesis controller.
Yeah, I see. For me, it's always been okay. I never grew up in an arcade kind of thing. Like I have gone to arcades when I was younger, but I never quite understood the whole the fascination for the Street Fighter, those controllers. You know what I mean? Those actual arcade type of controllers. I've never really understood because, I mean, I would just prefer a controller like this. No. What makes that other controller so like almost a requirement?
Look at how small the stick is on that, right? So the stick on your controller is really small. That's why they sell longer thumbsticks. So on my controller, I have a raised thumbstick. This is much taller than normal.
Yeah.
It allows you to have greater level of control on how much you put into that direction. So if you look at those fighting sticks, they're really quite tall. So you had a lot of control on how much you put into those motions, right? So you could do some really finite, like just small flicks to hit your combos pretty quickly because they were directional inputs, right? Fireball motion, reverse fireball motion, back forward, like all that type of stuff. And then they got even more into it with, you know, like down, back, forward to actually do a longer jump, right? So like it got really nuanced, and games that were wildly popular in the arcade were fighters. So Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat, Tekken, all of those fighters, they were really like, dude, the lines with people with stacks of quarters, you wanted to be the arcade hero. Oh, you didn't grow up around that time, but I can tell you, it was fun to see these dudes sweating it out at the arcade, like who's gonna be the best of the best in your area. And man, those guys put bank rolls into these machines but it was a quarter, so it was so cheap. Like it was cheap fun entertainment for young kids at a time when systems and stuff like that weren't just readily available in the home. Right now, you can pick up a controller like now.
Man,
like, I'd rather have this. And it's like, but that didn't exist.
That's true. That's true. Didn't think of that. Yeah.
It's like, I'd rather have a high def television. Yes, they didn't exist. So these big cabinets, right? These arcade cabinets, they didn't have flat screens in them. They had big ass tube televisions in them.
The Wii controller was also brought up by both Stein and Alpha Drum. I don't know. Have you had a Wii? I've never had a Wii.
I got one over there right now. My kids had it, but let's go take a look at this because I don't recall it, but I remember it being pretty close to trash. Yep.
I called it a nunchuck. Oh, I just typed in the search because I didn't know if it was that. But
that is like it's like, it looks like what I would expect a TV remote to look like in a nursing home. Like it's just.
No, but it's true,
like,
though.
Dude, it should have small nurse button on the bottom of that controller.
It does look like that.
And you have
hospital bed.
You have the attachment there to control your what do you call it, the little motorized car. You can drive your little motorized wheelchair around with it. This is definitely nursing home approved. No.
Yeah, that's definitely
Yeah,
the Wii controller is definitely not it.
Oh my god, look at it. You got the safety strap on it in case you fall down and can't back up. Look at that. No.
I'm a really big fan of the Switch. Do you have a Switch? Oh yeah, I remember the story. Yeah, I remember the story as well.
So I'm not that big of a fan of the Switch. I'm actually quite a Switch hater.
A Switch hater even? Okay.
Dude, so, okay. I'll say this, because Nintendo made a power play, which was to say, console wars had become this thing where everybody was pushing to be the best console, right?
Yeah.
And that was a tough battle to be in, and you see what it did to Sega, right?
Yeah.
And then when you have somebody, and I love Microsoft. I'm always going to be a Microsoft fanboy for a couple reasons. I'll get into those later. But then you had Microsoft jump into the soiree, and it became just that much harder to actually make a standout console. So the likes of Atari, the likes of Sega, Neo Geo, all these other companies that came along, thinking they were going to, make a console and carve their path. No, they got carved out. So Nintendo did another type of move. They just said, no, we're going to make a different type of console. Just going to focus on what we do best and market to quite possibly the easiest to market to demographic, kids. So they made a slick transition and said, no, we're not going to make the strongest console. We're not going to make the most powerful thing. We're going to make something fun, accessible, and portable.
What I don't like is the Nintendo, that it's very exclusive, like the Mario stuff and all that. We still don't have a good Smash Bros for like PC at all, ever.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of what I'm missing. So like, I kind of dislike Nintendo for that, but at the same time, I do have a Switch, so I do like it. But I hate that it's super exclusive for its games. But yeah, that's part of it.
I get that, but like, Sony did the same thing, right? Like, they did the same thing with their games, and now Microsoft is out here trying to buy up some of these giganto studios, and they're not thrilled with that. But when it was Final Fantasy and everybody in the world was crying that Final Fantasy wasn't going to be on an Xbox console because Sony had bought Square Enix.
Yeah.
So it was like, oh, okay, so it's fine when you guys do it, but when somebody else does it and you lose Call of Duty, we got a big problem, right? So it's kind of a mixed bag, because a lot of the Sony fanboys and girls will all claim, oh, Sony has all the best first party games, their own games that are exclusives. Sony has the best exclusives.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Microsoft started buying up exclusives. That's not fair. Wait a minute. Which is it? You can't have them both.
Yeah.
You can't have them both. So I think exclusivity ultimately is bad for gamers. That's part of the reason I do like the way Microsoft has done a lot of their things. If it's on Xbox, it's on PC. Like, that's pretty much the way it is. And even Sony fanboys are like, well, I might not get an Xbox, but I'll still buy that Xbox title on PC. At least you have that flexibility and leverage. So that's nice. You don't get a PlayStation? Good luck. You just can't play those PlayStation games.
Yeah.
Unless
Bloodborne, I think, is one of them as well, since we talked about Dark Souls and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I think, right? Bloodborne is exclusive, right? Pretty sure.
I think so.
And which one? Demon Souls also exclusive? Oh yeah. Yeah, so yeah, I kind of don't like that, but I mean, it's been part of gaming for so many years already. But what I like the most now is that we actually have a variety of games to choose from. Because like you said earlier, everyone had to play the same games when they were younger, right? That's just there just wasn't much out. Let's say relevant games out. No, I do actually feel, and this is very I feel like this is not this is kind of contradicting to how I hear a lot of people talk about games, but I personally feel that there is too much choice at the moment rather than too little. Because a lot of people say that there's just no games out. Like, I know there's a lot of games for sure. Yeah.
So many games.
So many games.
With games.
Yeah.
Not only are you inundated with games, you're inundated with games on every possible device. Whether it be your phone, whether it be your
phone games,
Switch, whether it be your computer, whether it be your tablet. You can game on every damn device in your house almost. I could probably game on the little display in my kitchen, right?
Yeah.
Now, especially with the advent of cloud gaming, which once that hits full pitch, it is wide open as it's going to be, because if we get to the point where fiber is reliable and available everywhere, these speeds increase to where you can stream these games with little. Oh my God, you're gonna wake up gaming, you're gonna go to sleep gaming, you're gonna game on your break, you're gonna game in between this and that, and it's like, okay, where's the break point, guys? Like, 'cause at the end of the day, it's all a business anyway, right? Everybody's vying for your dollar, so you kind of have to say, okay, well, where do I draw the line for me? Because gaming is going to be accessible everywhere. And like you said, there's so many games now. They're giving away the games so they can get you on either a subscription or B, some like DLC plan where you're buying all your characters and skins and colors and everything else.
Yeah. You can also talk about monetization. How do you feel about like subscription based or purchase or free but skins and so on and so on?
It's a tricky landscape right now with things. So like Exoprimal, I think we discussed that game a little while ago. And I was interested in Exoprimal. Fun game. I enjoyed the experience only because it was a part of Game Pass, right?
Yeah.
If I bought that game, I would have been livid, because you buy the game is not really a single player story as much as it's a multiplayer online game with a battle pass. So you bought the game, but you can't progress through the game because the game is just a battle pass. So why did I buy the game again?
Yeah.
And I think this came from a misguided attempt on the consumer side to maintain the pricing model of yesteryear, right? So at a time, games used to be $30 brand new, right? And I'm talking NES days, way back in the way back. And these games were like simple, 8-bit, like here's your cartridge, go home, $30, great. Now the price starts climbing up. Now the mark is $50 and the market is saying, hey,
70 even.
At the time, I'm saying the first stand was at 50 though. When people were like, nope, you can't go over 50. And then it budged 60. Then it budged a little more. Now you're seeing $70 titles.
Yeah.
But the problem is, you're not giving me that same $50 game that you used to give me. Now you're giving me a portion of a game and then charging me for the rest of the game.
Yeah.
So it's disingenuous on the developer side to say, oh, we kept our games at $70. It's only $70. Yeah. But it's a gutted out experience. I still need to buy your battle pass. I still need to buy all this. The best cosmetics used to come from playing the game.
Yeah.
Like that's
challenges
concept.
And stuff. Yeah.
Man, challenges, dude. There was something about being in a lobby wearing the most kick-ass, hard to achieve, you had to grind accomplishment gear to flex, right?
Yeah.
Now that's gone. The most challenging, and I look at Darktide, with the stink finger here. Shame on you guys. all the penances and challenges and achievements you can complete in the game, they look mediocre at best. And the stuff in the cash shop looks way better more times than not, even though they too are underwhelming. So I'd like to see a return to playing the game. Like, I would like to see a return to the focus on playing the game. Let's play the game to get the best stuff in the game. Let's
Yeah.
actually encourage people to be in the game. One of my favorite games I grew up with wasn't that high definition, but the incentive was all in the community aspect, and that was so much fun because it was very big community building, nostalgic, kind of had this anime look to it. It was called Ragnarok Online. And I was the only person I ever knew that played.
Ragnarok Online.
Yeah. Well, they turned that game into a straight up swipe your card. It's
Yeah.
you just, dude, buy a box, get your build. You're gonna spend several hundreds of dollars to build out a character, and then you're OP. That's really what the game has become, which is kind of gross. So monetization can take you to a place where a game like that, where at its zenith was so community focused, so it was so good to play Ragnarok Online because you had guilds, you had groups, people were working together on different events on different days of the week. I actually led a guild in that game. And hey, Decimus, yeah, we had those things. So when I look at what the slippery slope of monetization is, I think honestly they're targeting demographics who can't really tell or don't really know, and they're not having conversations with people like, say, myself, who bridge the gap between the time where you didn't have all that nonsense, and then you look at games that come along and say, oh yeah, we're Baldur's Gate 3. Screw you, screw all that nonsense you're talking about. We're gonna deliver you that top tier experience, and we're not gonna do those creepy monetization games. Here is what we promised.
Yeah.
And you have those stewards who are, they're the last bastion, right? Like, you used to think about CD Projekt Red in a similar thing where, oh, they're gonna really push the quality, right? Well, yeah, we see what happened with Cyberpunk, and it kind of just really sobers you up to think that, oh, there's really no guarantee that any of these things are going to hold true over time. But it is refreshing to see Baldur's Gate 3 come out in the way it is. And I also wanted to buy it just to support them, you know, just to say, hey, this is the way I feel about it, because I think when it comes to, and I'm sorry to be long-winded, when it comes to these type of things, you vote every day with your dollar, right? So if you're supporting something, you're showing that you're okay with that thing, whether it be good or bad. So I definitely want to support games and developers who prioritize giving that true gaming experience to the people who have loved, supported, and grown those type of titles to that level of clout and success.
About the monetization, I want to read through real quick. Stein said something for the free-to-play model for Conquer's Blade and some other stuff. He said, free games are difficult for me. When it's pay to win, then no, but what's pay to win? That's also a thing that I would like to talk about. For me, it's when you get exclusive items that are OP, but skins and faster progress are fine, but some people say that progress faster is also pay to win. That's what's annoying. In the game called Conquer's Blade, you can unlock everything for free, but you can pay to progress faster or get the skins faster. I see, that's a thing that I wanted to touch upon as well. I think also that there's a very big misconception, is that the word? Yeah. That pay to win has to do with skins and stuff. It's like how, for me, pay to win is truly if you are able to achieve, get certain things that allow you to be stronger than an opponent or thing, whatever, that you would not have access to otherwise, other than paying. That's for me is how pay to win is. I never really see the point of when like, for example, you have a bunch of skins and stuff and then people are saying like, it's kind of pay to win because fashion. I'm like, yeah, but like, it's just fashion, right? But then you have to ask, okay, what's the purpose of you playing the game? Do you want to look good, or do you want to like experience the content? Because experiencing the content, and then of course having the pay to win aspect of like paying for stronger items and stuff that you wouldn't have access to otherwise, that's pay to win. Yeah, but I don't know. I don't really see games with like skins and stuff being like a pay to win type of game, or pay to progress. I also don't really feel that's like pay to win. It's pay for convenience is how I see it. It's not pay to win. How do you feel about that?
Real quick on here, because pay to progress is you have to dial that recipe in right?
Yeah.
It's like salt. It can enhance something, or it can make it unbearable, right?
True.
So
yes,
there were some instances where I think it was was it Star Wars Battlefront, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Oh
to
yeah.
earn the stuff in game, the time was
Yeah.
so freaking egregious versus what you would have to do if you just swiped, right?
Yeah.
So you could pay for it and be done in like a fraction of the time. But to grind in game, it was so absorbently out of scope.
Yeah.
It would take people years to grind and do, right? So
Yeah.
it was just like, no, that is pay to progress.
I forgot.
At the same
Yeah.
time,
I forgot that. Yeah.
It's forcing you out because the amount of time you would need to sink into it to progress is so ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, it's only a progression advantage. Yeah, but is it? Like the curve has to be not so steep, right? Like it's just 2 times experience, something like that. Cool.
Yeah.
But
No. Yeah.
when you
Yeah.
balloon it out of control just to make it impossible for non-buyers, it's still the same as a pay to win.
For me, the way I assess it, and I totally forgot about that extreme example because that is a thing that happened, of course, with Star Wars. But for me, it's always, is it at the level of Korean grinding or not? And yeah, that Star Wars game in particular with unlocking certain heroes and stuff, that definitely is up to like Korean game standard, yes. And that's a bit too much. I would say pay for progression is fine when it's like how you said, it's like, okay, you get double XP or something. And overall, it's like, it's a very minor thing, right? To unlock it a little bit faster. But yeah, if it gets to that level where it would take people months of gameplay, actual continuous months of gameplay, then that's a no-go too. But where do you draw the line? That's a good question. Yeah, where do you draw the line?
Pay 10,000 hours or pay 10 pounds.
Yeah, so it's not okay. So it's not as easy as I made it out to be. I see my mistake there. Yeah, it's not as easy.
All of this stuff is it's not inherently bad, right? Microtransactions, I'm not against them. You want to sell some cosmetics? Sell some cosmetics by all means. You want to sell some other stuff, like some minor progression stuff? By all means. Color waves, do it. But then the greed is what really ruins it because they're not happy with making some money. They want to make all the money. So now I can't offer cosmetics in the cash shop. All cosmetics in the game have to come out now. Now we only offer basic white t-shirt, blue jeans in the game, and all of the cosmetics are in the cash shop. And it's like, I still pay for the game though, bro. I still bought this.
Yeah.
I still pay for Darktide, right? Like, that's the mindset is I bought this game. Why do I not have cosmetics? We had those back in the day. And I remember Call of Duty doing a similar thing, and most people didn't pick up on it, but I did. They took a bunch of the flags and icons out of the game that you could get. And then they came back and it was like, all of a sudden, these were things you could buy in the cash shop. And it was like, what?
Yeah, that's...
You literally took content out of my game to sell it back to me, but you sold me the game at full price. So like, we're diminishing the core product, right?
Yeah.
So it's almost like that shrinkage of saying, okay, now instead of getting 10 ounces of ketchup, you get 8 ounces of ketchup in the package for the same price. Well, you think the price is the same, but they shrunk the actual contents that you get. And that's the trick of shrinkification, is that you still think, oh, I got the big bottle of ketchup. Oh, it's big compared to the little one, but it's smaller than what you bought yesterday.
Yeah, so for games nowadays, most of them, I would say it usually comes out to be a case of they cut the game's content in half of what they already have, sell it as day one DLC even, right? And then on top of that, they've never really worked much on performance. So on day one, when it releases, it never tends to work either. So it's very, I'm never really too happy. There's also why I don't pre-order. I saw Stein mention that earlier too. I also don't really pre-order. No, I haven't done that for years.
I don't pre-order for the same reasons that Stein mentioned earlier. The games are coming out in beta test phase. When I hear a launch date, I add 3 to 6 months after that to check back on those games, because honestly, Darktide was an absolute stinker on launch, right? But they've made some really great changes. I'm really enjoying the game. But as far as like pre-orders, there's also this other part of subscription services now. So you have to take that into consideration when services like Game Pass, and I know Sony has their own version of Game Pass, they're doing day ones as well. So games are coming out. So what they
Game
end up
Pass
doing is they go to these developers and these publishers, and the publishers are saying, hey, we don't want you telling everybody our game is coming to Game Pass because you're killing our sales.
Yeah.
So they say, okay, well, we won't tell. So now you have day one shockers and surprises, right? Where it's like, boom, this is on Game Pass. Wait a minute, I just bought that. But if you don't know, you've already spent the money, right? So that's where they're trying to help those publishers in some way recoup their losses. But at the same time, now it prevents you from actually being able to forecast whether or not that game is coming to a service that you already have paid for. And you definitely would behoove you to be checking those any day a game comes out to make sure you don't go over your return policy playing a game that's actually available to you on another outlet.
Yeah. And Alpha also mentioned, Alpha Drone in chat mentioned the new Naruto has 2 different requirements. One is same as in 5-year-old game a 10-year-old laptop can run. One has higher recommendation than Starfield Alan Wake. But what I wanted to talk about really is the requirements. I feel like I might have bought my PC at the wrong time, because it's now starting to go the next level with Unreal Engine 5 and stuff, and I'm noticing it as well that it seems to be that games that are coming out now definitely need a better PC for sure.
So I do feel that now is probably the worst time to get into the next generation of GPUs.
Okay.
Even if you were interested in the 4000 series from NVIDIA or the 7000 series from AMD, they're introducing new technologies right now, right? So they're trying to flesh out how those are going to work and better optimize those. I'd be interested in the 7000 series next year when it's old, right? Or whenever that next generation of GPU comes out, I'm probably looking at the 7000 and 4000 series, because then I'll have a good bang for the buck. The drivers will be mature, and those cards are not close to being out of like frontline contention. We're at a space where I don't think there's much more headroom to really gain from GPUs. So like, okay, great, your GPU can now do 700 frames per second. Bro, you can only see 60. So so your eyeballs won't even be able to appreciate all of the frames that you're missing.
Yeah.
Great. As far as like, dude, if you can get over 120 frames, I don't see the point. I don't see the point.
Yeah. People that play shooters apparently, like the professional ones, they say there's a difference.
You got ultra all settings, 120 plus frames. Your eyes can't even recognize like anything much more. Like you could sit somebody, and I don't care how good of a gamer you claim to be, esports, whatever.
Yeah.
Science is science. Your brain can only process so much at a time. So you're not even receiving that. It's like, I don't know. It's like buying a car that goes 800 miles an hour, but there's never a road you can go 800 miles an hour. So what's the point?
Yeah. That's true. Yeah, that's also a thing that people never think about, that like when you buy a game off Steam, if Steam ever shuts down, it's gone. But what are the chances of that actually happening though? Like I don't think that's a very real chance to happen. But
you never know.
You never know yet.
So if you had to ask somebody in the 90s, what's the chance of Blockbuster going out of business?
Yeah, also true.
I would say
true, actually. Yeah, that made me think, man. That made me think. Damn, that might just happen. You never know.
So
yeah,
I love physicals. I love physical copies of games, and that was probably one of my most difficult decisions when making the transition to PC. That there wasn't any. Like there is no physical, right? Like,
no,
all digital download. So for me, I loved having that thing in my hand. I could go to the store. Here, I'm gonna sell this to you. Or it become a collector's item. I still have this Nintendo game. Oh man, now it's worth $100, man. It was just sitting on my shelf.
Yeah.
aging over these years, and now everybody wants it. Like, there's no collector's PC game.
So I'm curious.
What do you collect?
I'm curious. So you said that you want to have a physical copy of things, right? Are you also the person that would rather not buy things online, just actual stuff, and you'd actually go to a store and physically see and touch the things that you want to buy?
So I'm a mix. I'm open to both. Like, I'm a hybrid person. I was there for the .com boom, right? Like,
Yeah.
I was there when the internet blew up and everything was available online, and it was so crazy. So I'm definitely open to the technology, but I still don't think it replaces the brick and mortar as much as some people may think. So let me give you an example. You want to buy a mattress. You want to go look online, or you want to go lay on it?
Yeah, that's a tough question, to be honest, because like I can also see the online thing.
No. So you got to pay for shipping. That thing to come to you, delivery, setup. Who wants to go through all that? Instead, you could just take a 10-minute, 20-minute drive, or catch a bus or a train over to the store, lay on some mattresses, and go, okay, all right. Now I'm going home. And like this Family Guy skit I saw once. They went to the mattress store. They're laying on all the mattresses, and he says, "Do you know which one you want?" She says, "Yep, I'm ordering it online right now." So, I mean, there is some validity to having those brick and mortar places, and I do like physical copies. But when I get physical things, you got things like Amazon that make both online and physical a very fast and real approachable thing. So 2 days to receive something now, and in a lot of cases, I'll go order something. It's 1 day shipping. Like, it's just that quick now. So I could order it even at 6 p.m. at night. It'll be here the next day. So for me, I love having that time back, but also I love going into retail outlets sometimes where I can try on things and engage with people. I went to shopping for clothes. I post some of the food stuff that I cook, and I've been cooking primarily to improve my diet and health, right? Well, I lost some weight, and I decided it was time to go refresh my wardrobe, and I went into some outlet stores. We have some outlets near us. Brick and mortar. So I could have ordered it online, but I went into the outlet stores, and there was a lady assisting people at the try-on room, and I had on this fit of jeans. She's like, that fits you, but I think I know of a better fit for you. So she recommended some other types of fits of jeans for me, and man, I fell in love with those other fits of jeans. That doesn't happen online. That doesn't happen when I go to check out that cart, or when I'm in that store and I have those people who are in fashion, who are in retail, who have been handling these things, who know what's new and what's hot and what's trending. They're not online chatting with me as much as that little chat bubble of the lady in the corner saying, "How can I help you?" She's not going to help me like that. So I don't know. I definitely do still have a soft spot in my heart for brick and mortar, but also I love the convenience of online shopping too.
For me, a big thing is also like expensive stuff or not, because like you said, a mattress. I think mattress is a bit more, so it's really worth to check out to actually have a feel for it, of course. But other things like, I don't know, like for example, 2 years ago I bought an air fryer. I didn't really have to go check out like actually physically touch the air fryer, and I was like, I'll just order one online, it's fine. So it really depends on what it is, for sure. That's a big thing. And Alpha Drone mentioned there's so many stores closing in our city, we don't have a choice but ordering. That's also becoming a thing now. I don't know if that has to do with our city, with like if they're getting enough sales or not. I don't know what it has to do with, but I do think that we're probably gonna get closer to the whole idea of just like everything being online only and stuff, and that there's no longer going to be any physical stores to buy stuff. It's it's getting closer and closer, for sure. I will say that it's not as fast as technology isn't improving as fast as we initially thought. Like by now that we'd have like floating like hoverboards and stuff and all that kind of stuff, but we are still
you don't have your
growing.
Floating hoverboard? I just cast mine up, buddy.
No, so it is getting scary, But you wanted to say something.
A lot of malls and stores in the U.S. are closing too. there's a couple of malls in my area where they just they couldn't weather the storm. And I think it's their inability to adapt that is their shortcoming. All things, change is inevitable, right? So it doesn't matter what the field is, what the topic is, change is inevitable. It's coming. Times will change, technologies will change. We have to change with them. We have to accommodate those new things. What you're seeing is those things that could not adapt, who could not embrace technology, they're suffering the most. So yeah, okay, people are ordering more online. You need to have an online presence. You need to have an actual system to shift the priorities of how you do business. So I'll take my local grocers, for example. People love shopping online because they hate shopping in store. Why do they hate shopping in store? Because the store was designed to make you have to walk through a lot of the store to get the key ingredients that you need. So they designed the flow of the store to make you walk past a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
Well, that's a design that's meant to waste my time and expose me to more products to buy, right? So what you're doing now is you've indirectly incentivized me to order online. So now I'm going to save that time. I'm going to have some of your employees go do the shopping, and I don't have to waste my time walking back and forth viewing those products, right? Well, now what the grocer should be saying is, let's just adapt our policy to have more of those people who are going to pick those orders. Let's drive up that type of sale, right? And figure out how we can better monetize around that. So there are definitely things that can be done to streamline your shopping experience. Oh man, there was this one store, what was it? Lowe's. Well, not a sponsor, but anyway, if you go on their website, they'll tell you what aisle, what aisle and what shelf an item is.
Lowe's?
Yeah, which is nice. So like, if I'm going to go pick something up, okay, great, I know exactly where to go get it. But even then, so they adapted it, I think, quite well. Now when you order online, they have a cabinet up front. They'll put your stuff in the locker. You just come in, scan the barcode, the locker pops open, you grab your stuff and you walk out. Done.
Yeah.
That's the type of stuff that's going to keep you afloat. Investing in that technology and being at the forefront of being competitive, not just sitting around saying, well, this is the way we've always done it. Okay, that'll get you out of business.
Yeah.
That'll get you ran up out of here.
I noticed really small shops and stuff, family owned and whatnot, they tend to thrive really well when they do something on social media. That's been a big thing for years now as well, where they blow up because of I don't know, someone reviewing a store or a restaurant. There's a specific person, Keith Lee, who does restaurant reviews and whatnot.
I've been watching.
Yeah. So you know. Yeah. And that's really becoming big. Or like,
you want to give the background of the story, so
for Keith Lee. So
I mean, we know, but they don't.
Yeah, it's true. Okay, so Keith Lee is a person. I randomly just found him really early on, where he just reviewed some food he got somewhere, and people really liked his reviews because they were really honest as well. I haven't seen a Keith Lee video where I'm like, okay, he's faking it or something. Like, you can see a genuine reaction, and sometimes his scores will be lower than what you might be expecting, and that's a good thing for me, because reviews nowadays, like, everything is just either the extreme hype or no hype whatsoever, and there's no real in between with like honesty, with like, okay, it's good, but this could be better. And that Keith Lee is a really good example of how you can do reviews. He specifically does things for food, but the reason why he's one of the most well-known reviewers at the moment is also because he does a lot of reviews for family-owned businesses or just small startups and whatnot. And because of his presence now on social media being so huge, every single restaurant place that he visits or has a good review about tends to like thrive in success for months. I don't know for how long, but definitely the first couple of weeks are absolutely booming. Just huge queues of people all wanting to try out that specific restaurant he talked about and whatnot. And that's kind of what I was talking about for, like, in general. Most of those businesses now, like, if they're smart about it, they will actually follow and do the same thing with like getting certain people to review or making their own memes and whatnot about their own restaurant and that kind of stuff, because people love it, and it really works on social media. definitely helps get them up there.
Yeah, shameless plug. My social media is right here under me. So follow me on all platforms. And, I agree with you, Z. I 100% social media and the internet in and of itself has opened up so many avenues for advertising. And,
What's also Bob said, yeah.
So it's sad that people want to. There's this African proverb that said the truth teller has no friends, right? So if you plan on telling the truth, plan on a lot of people hating you, right?
Yeah.
And I love the way he does his reviews. He doesn't even go into these places. He sends other people to get the food. So they don't even know they're being reviewed at the time, which is also really, really cool. It keeps the experience very authentic. I find it disheartening that these owners that have received negative reviews, instead of owning the actual issues and addressing them accordingly, they've responded so poorly. I think that's really the big story here is that, yeah, you got a bad review, but you responded terribly. Like, you didn't own anything. You didn't come up with any solutions. One of the guys tried to make a mockery of Keith Lee and say that he didn't even know who he was when you guys are begging him to come review your place. But it's just disgusting. And honestly, with the internet giving platform to so many different people, like, you're sitting here we're having an exchange right now. Everybody can. I'm not gonna say everybody. A lot of people have access. A lot more than has ever had access. Have access to be online and be an influencer and speak to people.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we see. I see Skink has entered the chat. Hello, Skink. Yeah. So yeah, that's the thing. But I mean, even better example to show you, although it's a bit more extreme because of course it's entertainment and everything. But Gordon Ramsay, when he tries to like renovate new restaurants that are doing so poorly and whatnot, you can always tell that the owners never really own up to making mistakes ever. That seems to always be the case for like bad businesses, where they just would rather blame something else than themselves for just managing it poorly. That's it. Yeah.
This is bringing on an interesting thing, though, I think, in this coming generation, is that they're leveraging their dollar much more, I'll say, selectively, right? So if you're not delivering the product, if you're not delivering the goods, they'll just stop patronizing you. That's a good thing.
Yeah.
No one should feel entitled to your money. You have to earn it, right? Like, I had to earn it. You have to earn it. So if you're going to expect payment from me for some goods or services, you need to be delivering top quality goods and services to ensure that you have continued business. Not, oh, you're going to have to come to me anyway. Like, that's the reason we don't want monopolies, is because if you have a monopoly, you don't have a choice, and that's bad for consumers. Competition is what keeps things at that bleeding edge of customer satisfaction. Yeah.
And the same thing with games as well, because a while ago there were only a couple games that were kind of thriving, and that was really bad for the industry and consumers. Well, I mean, it's good for them, but bad for us, because then we don't really have as many options. But then again, like we discussed before, I do think that we have plenty of options now, and there's plenty of games. But there definitely was a phase, I would say, that was during the console wars and stuff, where like you didn't really have much of an option because PC gaming wasn't really as thriving. But yeah, we talked about that already, about like how games were before and how it is now. But social media is definitely a powerful tool. Yeah.
I do find myself intrigued with what's the outlook for the future of PC gaming. I don't know.
I would love to believe VR, but I don't see it happening at the moment. But I would love to believe that might be expanded upon. But at the moment, it's like, how many people are truly interested in VR? Let's be real. Like, it's cool. It's a niche thing, but
yeah. but things are going to have to get even more cheaper and approachable. Right now, income levels aren't rising. People are not seeing a significant progress in their wages. There are losses of benefits and everything else. And like, how do you continue to sink money into these hobbies when they're not like guaranteed things? So I think about my gaming PC and how much it cost me and how much it would cost me today or something similar now. You're talking like $1,000 to $1,500 cost of entry, right? Like, not everybody has that type of disposable income just to throw at a hobby, let alone something that can push VR and get a VR headset and something like that.
That's the thing, though. Like, I don't know how much you know about VR, because not much. Because the Quest 2, I'm not sure if it was the first one or if there was other stuff, but the Quest 2 is a standalone thing that doesn't require you to just plug it in or anything. So it's like basically a mini PC-ish, whatever, that all you have to do is put on the goggles and then you're in the system, whatever. So and that one, I mean, I can even check the price right now. It's not expensive, but that was supposed to be the VR thing that is accessible for everyone, kind of Quest 2 price. So this one would be, I'm just gonna go off the first couple things, but 350 euros. So I don't know, it's probably roughly the same dollars probably. And that is actually not too bad for entry of VR. And you don't need a PC, nothing. It's just its own thing. So that definitely is. I have a Quest 2 actually. That was very interesting. But however, after having tried out the Quest 2, I will say that there's just not a lot of interesting things for me to really want to do VR with, because the games are also like, they're not really at a level where it's really that believable. It's fun, but it doesn't make me want to play more of it. However, what was cool is I visited Gamescom this year, and there was a tournament there with people doing a shooter game. So it was like a big arena, and everyone had VR sets on as well, and they had like a gun and stuff, so that they would play a VR game that way. And it was a complete open area, and then the ground would have this podcast is brought to you by Lowe's. I still have that on. Hang on, let me lock this Quest 2. Yes. Okay. So the tournament was just a big open empty area where the ground had squares and stuff, and then a square would be a wall or just an open space basically, and people would navigate with their VR headset on, and then they would be in that universe of the shooter game, and they actually played the tournament like that. Now the thing is, I don't see that being that relevant for us normal people. Like, we're not going to have access to that much space where we can have a VR set and just run around and stuff. It doesn't make much sense. But the idea is there though, and that's really cool. But like I said, basically the conclusion of what I'm trying to say is that I think there is definitely something in VR gaming that is very fun to do, and there might be a future in it. But I don't think we're at the stage yet where I think that everyone should be playing VR as we speak right now. That's basically all I'm saying. Yeah.
Yeah, so one of the things I would have loved to see them do with VR, and unfortunately I haven't seen that take place, is VR experiences. I think are where VR can really excel. So when I say experiences, I think about type of events that people would want to go to, you'd want to be a part of, or you would want to experience that thing as though you were there. Yeah. So say, for example, you wanted to go to a theme park and ride some amazing amusement park ride that either A, you couldn't afford, or B, the lines are too insane for you to stand in for 2 hours or pay some exorbitant fee for a skip the line, right? Yeah. Like, now I can pay $60 and do a virtual ride at Six Flags St. Louis, or I can do a virtual game and I can sell each ride at the Disney World park, right? Where you're sitting there and you can watch all around and look at those things. That would be pretty cool. Like, those are the type of experiences. Or hey, in theaters right now is Taylor Swift's Eras Tour. Well, you're basically sitting there watching her tour, right? Like, if that was a VR experience, that'd be pretty freaking awesome, because you'd feel like you were there in that moment, moving around or looking around at stuff. as it was happening in your experience. So I think honestly, those non-gaming experiences that
Yeah,
really
that's true. Yeah.
in something where it can feel real and feel 3D and you can be there because you're not rendering game real time, right? You're rendering what they're looking at, but it's already you've already known all the angles, right? So I think those type of things could really set VR off, but I hope that I see something like that down the line, because I am afraid of heights, and doing something like skydiving out of a plane, or riding a roller coaster, or even doing a tour of the Grand Canyon in a helicopter would be amazing. I've seen the Grand Canyon several times. I know what it's like. It's amazing. But being able to introduce people who haven't seen things like that, or you can ride a raft over Niagara Falls or some shit, that would be cool, right?
What's interesting about that is, I wanted to bring this up, experiences, right? So the cool thing about this is everything that you've talked about, that I have actually seen that myself, like roller coaster rides and everything, mountains and all that. But the coolest thing to me was actually when I first introduced my grandpa, and I think he's like 80 something or whatever. He's really old, he's ancient, he can barely walk, right? And I introduced him with VR, and he didn't know, he couldn't even comprehend what VR is like, and like how to imagine what it's like. So we put it on him, right? And I brought him back to places in Indonesia, where he kind of grew up and stuff. And he was like, wow, like it feels like I'm there. And it's like, it was a beautiful moment to see someone else like from that age enjoy that type of technology, because he was now able to just have those experiences. I also brought him to Jurassic Park and that kind of stuff. But
wait, how did you take him to places in Indonesia that he's been?
Yeah, so there are things like I don't know how aware, like again, like I don't know how much you know about VR, but there are definitely apps and videos and stuff that basically puts you in there.
Really cool.
So that is a real thing that already exists. What you're talking about, like, so that doesn't have to be like a future thing. That's already currently what it is. So the roller coaster stuff too as well.
The expansion is what needs to happen, right? Like you need to expand that experience and that awareness, because I'm a gamer. I have a system. I could easily get a headset. I have the disposable income, but this stuff isn't being surfaced up to people like myself. So I don't know. Yeah.
And the cool thing about that Oculus Quest 2 as well, like I'll be honest, I only know much about a Quest 2. I don't know about the more expensive models, what you can do with that kind of stuff. But the Quest 2 also has built-in audio as well, so you only wear the goggles, and everything just is fine. Like you can hear the audio around you as well, and it truly is that like you see something in front of you, but you can go as far as doing a 180, and you just actually see behind you too. And it's not like the old VR that we know, right, where it's just like, okay, you just see a 3D image like this, and you can't move or anything, like, and that's all. So definitely, the technology has definitely been improved for experiences, and that's a wonderful thing. But for gaming, however, it's just VR for gaming is just I don't know, man, it's just not it right now for sure.
So the thing is, I think my problem with VR is the limitation of standing and sitting, right? So if you want to turn around and you have a full headset on, like you have to turn with the joystick. You can't be standing and turn around. Like I don't think you could.
Yeah, you can. Yeah,
safely. No. So I'm not saying you can't physically do it. Yes, you can. Do it.
Oh yeah.
Would it be a safe thing to do? I don't think so, because as the action gets going, or you fall down some stairs, or you go over a cliff, or there's some light introduction or something like that, people in real life are falling over left, right, and center. Because they're adapting to the input they're receiving from that VR, because that's the thing. Immersive.
So I'm gonna hit you with this type of information right now. There's a technology within the Quest 2 that allows you to draw custom borders, or even automatically detect it. So if you're not happy with how it automatically detects it, most of the time it worked for me. But if I'm in an awkward spot where, like, I don't know, there's like a small table in this area, like you can draw while you're in that. You can draw it, because if you get too close to the lines of what you draw or what has been detected before, it automatically shows you the image as if like your normal camera. So it's no longer the VR, but it switches so it's like imagine just like doing this with your phone with the camera, right? And then also just having the VR, and it switches the view if you get too close to the edge of something. So you can't use your whole room with a really weirdly arranged setup and all that. Like there's tables and chairs, and you can manually draw it out if you don't trust the automatic software. And if you get too close, then it will swap to that real view, and you see like, okay, oh, I'm a bit too close, and you move away. So same thing with the stairs. I think that's a really good safety measure for sure that I did not know existed before I had it. Yeah.
Kenmu says also Skyrim VR with AI NPC is insane.
AI in general.
That sounds really interesting, and
Yeah.
I think AI is one of those topics I do love touching on. But
Yeah.
so this is the next technology wave, in my opinion, is AI. AI is going to be at the forefront of so many things, and good, bad, and indifferent. It's coming. Me personally, I'm not a fan.
No?
No. I understand a lot about technology, and I understand a lot about what it can accomplish. And that's frightening. So that's frightening for me to
Very much so, yeah.
the level of displacement that can take place as technology and industry advances. So if you think about how the Industrial Revolution took place, we became so much more better with building and doing things, right? But then the technological revolution took place. A lot of those mechanical functions were obsolete. A lot of those jobs and a lot of those functions were lost. Now, when we have a technological boom and then an AI boom on top of it, not only do I not need the person to build it because I have a robot to do that,
Yeah.
I don't need a person to run the machine that builds it. Now I have an AI that will run the machine that builds this thing.
Yeah.
And that creates a serious area of concern for me when it comes to people's place in this world and what functions we can then perform to have value, right? So if all we do is spend and we can't accumulate wealth through viable means anymore, because the AI is now doing a lot of those base core functionality, the algorithms and everything that they figure out to actually do a lot of the functions, man. I don't want to be a tinfoil hat person, but the writing's on the wall, right? Like, AI is spooky. AI
It is.
spooky.
It is. Like the age-old concern with movies and stuff where the AI takes over completely, like a whole world. That it's always a possibility. Yeah. What is AI?
Auto blow. I don't know.
I don't know what that is, so I'm too scared to Google that.
I know, right? It's gonna be involving some type of blow-up doll.
Yeah.
But no, it should be interesting. We're gonna see where it goes. Hopefully, they don't hook AI up to something that, oh my God, please don't put AI on a quantum computer or give it full access to the interwebs or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. We don't want to make Skynet just yet.
Yeah, Skynet. Yeah, that is a bit spooky. No, I just in general as well. Like, it's even getting to the point where AI streams are also becoming a thing, or I've already been a thing actually. Yeah, and I mean, I enjoy, the human authenticity of streams where like you can tell that there's an actual human being behind the screen, but it's getting a bit spooky, man. It's getting very spooky.
AI, influencers.
Yeah.
That's only a thing right now. So, people you think you're talking to, you think you're having interactions with, it's a bot. It's a sophisticated bot.
I remember when we were younger, chatbots, but they weren't as developed. Yeah. They weren't as developed as it is now. But yeah.
We're gonna see where it goes. I'm excited to see what happens with AI. I hope that we handle it with the necessary protections to safeguard humanity.
Yeah.
But also, not shock people out of their sources of income, and
I think that's just not possible, to be honest. I think with AI has to come the replacement that they have to eventually replace jobs and whatnot. It's inevitable because people, always want cheaper solutions for their businesses and whatnot, and that's just how it is. I really don't think that if AI improves, that we can maintain the level of humanness in terms of jobs and stuff. Like I don't see it happening.
So what happens then? Everybody loses their job?
Yeah. And it has to get to the point where there's probably some kind of rebellion or something, where like some people are not happy with it, because like
this sounds like so.
Yeah, it sounds super movie like. Yeah, but that's the thing is like there is no other solution, because just like the current machines that we have right now for to build stuff for us, right? It's the same thing as it was a long time ago, where there used to be humans actually making certain products and whatnot, and now it's just fully automated and whatnot. I mean, it's the same thing. Like people lost their job, and it's just it sucks, and there's nothing we can do about it. So what makes AI so different that it's not going to happen there, right? It is a cheaper solution to have an AI.
So like there are people who are CNC operators, right? So they come up with the best possible way to make particular things with. So I do 3D printing.
Yeah.
And a CNC machine is similar to a 3D printer. It can fabricate different things using the CNC machine, and uses some complex construction. So you have these people who are tasked with optimizing those builds. So let's say this machine kicks out one widget every hour, right? So now you got this engineer who's going to figure out a way to kick out one widget every 45 minutes. So now I've increased productivity.
Yeah.
Well, that's as good as a human can do, right?
Yeah.
It can do as good as a human can do. But if you bring along an AI that can actually run that through all the rigorous scenarios in a fraction of the time, and come back and say, oh, I can make a widget every 3 minutes now. Yeesh.
Yeah.
That guy's obsolete. Like, he's gone. You're out of here. Right?
Yeah.
Like, it's rough. That's rough. Like, I don't know. We'll see. Again, change is inevitable. So people are
self-driving cars. Self-driving cars are a thing even.
Boy, that's so scary.
It is scary, but I mean that is a thing, and then like that's already a job of like a taxi driver or delivery person, whatever. It's like already gone, basically. Right?
I have a newer model vehicle, and it's got all these sensors and assisted parking and everything.
Yeah.
And everyone that I've had, they've at some point in time gotten it wrong, like always.
Yeah.
I've never had a vehicle that never gave a false reading. They always gave a false reading. That's why I was like, I don't think the technology is there. So,
but it'll get there, right?
Maybe.
Eventually.
Maybe. But I was backing up, and my vehicle has assisted braking. I'm backing up into the driveway, and it just registers there's something in the driveway, like with the curvature of my driveway, it trips it every time.
Yeah.
And it's hard emergency brakes. Hard emergency brakes. Slams me into the seat, and I'm like, you gotta be kidding me, right?
Yeah.
It did that probably like 4 or 5 times before I just turned the feature off, because it was so jarring and upsetting to everyone in the vehicle and myself as well. I can't imagine that vehicle going down the road and false registering something, heartbreaking me every time it did something like that.
Yeah.
No.
And also, the example that I know of is like optimized roads and specific conditions where they have done that kind of stuff. So not for the everyday use in anywhere. But I do know that like that they're working on it, and then that's mostly what I was referring to for like the future. I could see it happen where like the roads are properly, or the technology is there where it doesn't matter what type of road it is that they can take over for sure. But not at the moment. Not at the moment.
I wonder, like, is that something we even like? I don't know. Like, there are better things I think to spend cycles on.
Well. I mean, yes and no, because like, for example, you have to pay for drivers for like so many different jobs, right? Like not just delivery and stuff as well, but I mean mostly delivery even. Like imagine no longer having to you know actually there is a thing you can order a dinner. I don't know which city it is in the US, but a little robot will pick it up, or maybe the human with the robot, and then the robot just goes to the place and they're very fortunate that nobody steals it, because that's very easily, people can steal from it because they can see it's there. But yeah, that is a simple thing.
I hate delivery services.
Oh, you do?
I don't use them.
Okay, yeah.
I had some of the worst experiences with these delivery systems because they were so scammy and scummy. And, again, not to show my age, but you used to call the pizza shop, right? And the pizza shop had a delivery driver, and they would bring the pizza, and you give the pizza guy $5. And guess what? The pizza guy got $5. The pizza shop just got the money for selling the pizza. That was it, right?
Yeah.
So there was none of this extra stuff on top. So now they have delivery fees, and convenience fees, none of which goes to the driver somehow. The driver's still using their same old personal car, so you're not helping them with anything on their car. That's all just money for you. And then on top of that, you have special menus now for these delivery services. There's this place that I used to go to that was local. They'd have a wing special on a certain day of the week, or the wings were like 50 cents or something, right? So they were super cheap. And not only was the online order not the special price, which I guarantee you they were going to pay the special price when they ordered it, but they had a special menu with a jacked up price beyond regular price. So you don't think you're paying extra because you just selected a menu item. They didn't spell it out that there's an extra fee. The hidden fee is in the price of the item. So let's say you're ordering a cheese pizza. If I order a cheese pizza for pickup, that pizza is $15. If I order a cheese pizza for delivery, they have a special menu on top that now that pizza shows up as $20. So now you're paying a hidden fee inside of that, and then they're going to slap a delivery charge on top of that, and none of which is going to the driver. You wonder why these drivers are so pissed, because these establishments are getting all the money and they're scamming out their staff, but they're blaming the customer for being cheap. But no, you just scammed your driver out of their tip money.
Also, it's a mixture of a lot of things. I think the biggest issue for us as well, like we only deliver food if there's like a special going on. It's just everything is too expensive nowadays, man. That's the basic thing. Like it's unreal. Like I used to be able to buy like a very simple burger for like €1 or something, or $1, whatever, right? But dude, it's like that shit is €5 minimum now. Like what the hell? Or even more than €5. If you want to deliver, if you're gonna get a burger delivered, it's like 9 or 10 already. It's like crazy, man. It's wild.
So like it's crazy. They used to have. So we were talking. I was just talking to my kids about this the other day, and how outrageous these fast food prices are.
Yeah.
And when I was a young man, McDonald's used to have this all-American meal deal, and it was $2.50. Okay.
Yeah.
You got a cheeseburger, order of fries, a soda, and an apple pie, and it was $2.50, bro. Yeah. And I was like, oh my goodness, now that same crappy burger by itself is $3.
Yeah.
Like just
it's crazy.
The one crappy burger, $3. Like,
you know how much a Big Mac is?
I see now.
Yeah, that's how much it is for us. $6.20 and €4 delivery fee. It's crazy, man. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy. So like DoorDash, they got me good one time, and I had like well, they didn't get me per se. I received a gift card from a job I was working at. Anyway, they who taught me about their special menu, because I have ordered from some of these places.
Yeah.
Like all the time. So you know the price, right? So just like you know that a Big Mac is $6.20. If you go to the DoorDash site, the Big Mac on theirs is $8. And it's like, wait, when did the Big Mac become $8? I know it's $6.20. Oh, that's because we're using our special menu to hide additional fees. And it's kind of scammy. It's very scammy to me. Like, dude, y'all are hiding fees into stuff. It's just, I'll pass.
Yeah.
It feels like an unscrupulous business practice. I'd much rather give a better tip to somebody, an actual person who's actually doing work, who's actually and not just throw money.
Yeah, and they don't get paid a lot at all.
Third-party
Drivers,
yeah,
they don't. Yeah.
That's why now we're seeing a rash of people who are having their food eaten or not delivered. Like,
yeah, that happens to me. Yeah, all the time.
Because these people are like, screw it, I'm getting screwed anyway. Let's spread the love, right?
It's crazy.
So they're spreading the screw job over on some of these other people. It's
yeah.
I don't know. I don't like the delivery scene. I don't like what it's become. I love the way it used to be, and honestly, even if the delivery scene was just simply, hey, we're here to get our fee. We're gonna get our $3 to actually have the platform available and make our profit. I wouldn't have a problem with that.
Yeah.
Now you want to change the price on every menu item to be $2 and $3 more than it is. So now that, I don't know, that normal $20 order I used to have that was 4 or 5 items is now $30 to $35. And then I need to pay your delivery fee on top. And then I need to tip this person. So now the true out-of-pocket cost of having that thing delivered, I would have paid $20 at the store. Now, true out-of-pocket expense, $35 to $40.
Yeah, it is that crazy.
Double the cost. I could have had that same meal twice.
Yeah.
I don't know why I would do it. Like,
yeah.
I would do it.
Yeah. Yeah, everything's super expensive.
When you have specials and all that other stuff, and you have good deals, and it works.
Yeah.
In different areas, different things. I get it. I'm not shaming anybody that uses them. I'm just saying, be aware, because, like you said, money is getting hard to come by, man. And people aren't making a ton of money these days. So
yeah. Really, yeah, delivery it definitely isn't the same. What I do like with food apps and stuff are the ones where you can save money. Like, I don't know if you have Too Good To Go, but it's an app where stores will just give you a surprise bag of stuff for a very cheap. Oh
wow!
Cheap cost.
That's really nice.
Yeah, and then it's all stuff that like they can no longer sell because of expiration date soon or something or whatever, or a bakery, that kind of stuff. But it's all stuff that's all good. That's still good and all that. So for the cost of I don't know, let's say let's say you get a surprise bag of like €8 or something, you can easily get a value of like 20 to 30 just because it's stuff that would have gone to waste anyway. That's why it's called Too Good To Go. So I really like that. Actually, I'm gonna show that app on the stream even. Yes, not sponsor or anything, but I think this is a really good app.
I'm actually like, I've been curious about your streaming history. Like,
yeah,
I know you've been streaming for several years now, right?
Yeah.
And there was a time where I won't call it you were at your zenith or anything like that, because I think honestly, like right now, you're probably the best at doing this as you've ever been, because you have so much experience and knowledge about how to do it and how to actually proceed with those things. But like, what are those, if you had to say, hey, these are things I would definitely be aware of, to kind of keep an eye out for in a sense, and
that's streaming advice.
Opportunities.
Yeah.
Key opportunities where it's like, hey man,
oh man,
this will probably help you go from here to here a lot quicker, because it'll help you avoid some of the pitfalls I made. Get on my pen.
The biggest pitfall, dude, I cannot stress this enough, because I was stubborn enough to fall for this so many times, is do not think that Twitch is the only platform that you should use. You have to expand and use all the platforms available to you. Even now, like I'm not even doing Instagram and stuff like that, or Twitter, when I should. But at least focus on YouTube at minimum. Like if some people feel like iffy about TikTok, okay, whatever, don't use TikTok, but at least use YouTube for sure. Because Twitch, I've noticed, is really awkward. There are certain factors as to why my channel had ups and downs and stuff. It mostly had to do with the wrong focus of things. So like you said, you know specifically that you want to have a community where you play games together and whatnot. So if your focus is that, then you should actually focus on that type of content too. The mistake of mine was that I was very focused on, I'll just say it, I don't mind, but Elder Scrolls Online PvP content, where most people would primarily watch for the gameplay of that game. And I didn't really have a focus of like, hey, I want to have a community where people are more social towards each other, or like hang out and all that. Basically what you want to do right now, that's what I know now, that I should have been doing it, how I said, with like more focus on that type of stuff. But I didn't know that back then, so I grew into the wrong community. And I always say that the foundation is always the thing that you have to work on. The foundation being know what your goal is with streaming. Because if you're, for example, let's say you want to make a career out of it where you get money, then you actually have to stick with treating it like a job and not like as a hobby with like, oh, I just happen to want to play this game, but I want to play that. It's like, no, you're playing it, you're doing this as a job. You're not doing this as a hobby. So being very clear with what you want in streaming, and also doing that the right way is very important. So if you want to do community-based things, then you have to play community-based things. Like, it's just that simple. So even if you feel like, man, I want to play single-player games and all that, like if you're in limited time and all that, just ask yourself like, okay, but what's the original reason why I'm streaming? Is it because I want to play with other people? Then do that. Don't stick with that. Stick with that. Don't make the mistake of doing too many things at once. That's definitely one thing that I've done. It's too much focus on different things. So the other thing is, if you want to maintain a community, I'm gonna have to tell you straight up already, because I don't know if you have this, but Discord or any other platform where people can easily interact with you. Even if you have no one in your Discord, you have to start somewhere. We all start somewhere, right? So Discord is very important, especially if you want to do community-based things. It cannot be just Twitch. It's like if people can be successful and then they don't require Discord, but then they're already successful, so they don't need it. But if you really want to start out, you want to have a community that ends up sticking with you. So you need to have some kind of platform where people can continuously interact with each other. And Discord is the best platform for gamers, of course. So that's definitely one big thing that I can say. A way to maintain people's interest is YouTube or TikTok or whatever, Instagram, whatever, just so that people can see what you're up to, see the content, and find out about you is also a thing, because Twitch discoverability is almost non-existent. The only good thing about Twitch is the fact that you can use Twitch as a platform to make content, and then you split the content over YouTube and all the other platforms that you can do videos with and all that. So Twitch is basically a platform where you create the content, but it is not the end game of the content that you then show to people. Because even with a podcast like this, there's almost no one on the planet at the moment that will watch the entire thing unless they really like you or me. Like, that's just honest truth. So people want to see the highlights, and so
basically you're saying everybody's gonna watch the whole thing.
yeah, the whole thing. So people that don't know you that well, or me or whatever, they would maybe be interested in highlights if you give them into bite-sized pieces, right? Like if you give, that's another thing that I've learned with my random videos that I've done in the past as well. I'm not nowhere near like big success or anything, but I kind of have an idea of what I should do now, and it's really brutal with keeping people's attention and interest. So YouTube Shorts are one way, but YouTube Shorts are also kind of forgettable, because like YouTube Shorts, same thing as TikTok, is just short form content where, oh, haha, it's funny, let me put a like and then forget about it next video. That's kind of the thing with that. So if you want to do that type of content, then you need to spam that content. With the longer videos on YouTube, I have noticed that if you just make a well thought out video or an interesting video, you still have to maintain there's a specific word for it that I can't think of at the moment, but like, for example, first 10 seconds, if there's nothing interesting, then people are not going to continue watching the video. Like, they might scroll through it some, but most people won't even go further than 10 seconds. So you need to be interesting within the first 10 seconds. Now you need to keep that up. You need to keep that up and up for the entire video if you want to do long content type of stuff. But if you have long content, that tends to draw the people that are most likely to stick around and be a part of your community as well. So there's a difference between long form content and short form, I guess. Short form content is definitely like the quick fix that people want, of like, okay, this is funny and all that. And then maybe subscribe to you on YouTube. Long form content definitely gets you the more stable community, I guess, for sure. And then never see Twitch as as the only platform that you can use. Twitch is the platform where you create content from, and then you then edit that content and then post it to others. I think that's basically it. Yeah, those are the most important things. Yeah. Well, any questions?
all really good advice, honestly. Also, I do have a Discord server. It's
You
on
do?
my
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's on my my profile in Twitch. You'll see
Okay.
a link there.
You can link it here if you want to in the chat.
I'll have to go.
But yeah.
Yeah, I'll grab that link in just a moment. But yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Hop on over to my Discord. I share some things here and there. I just started posting more to the void. So like, yeah, there's not many people. I have a friend IRL that joined my Discord server. He games as well. But I started the Discord server and I was like, okay, I got to just start putting stuff in here, even if I'm talking to the void, start filling it up, putting in some of those same type of content things that I put into other channels. I mean, into other Discord servers, like things I'm sharing with whether or not I'm 3D printing or whatever the case may be. So that when people do show up, it's not an empty void. There is content for them to consume. So when they go in, oh, look at that. He has all these cool photos from the Penhurst Asylum. I know you wanted to ask me about that. We'll talk about that in a moment, too. So those are the type of things I really kind of want to put more into. I do love 3D printing as well. So I'm going to put more information in there. There's a free games channel that'll give you guys alerts every time a free game is put out. So those are cool type of things I try to keep going. I'm going to try to grow the Discord server with more and more stuff. There's soundboards with sounds you can use. So definitely check that out. And I'll give the link here in just a second. But yeah, I do have a Discord server. I've made some long form content.
Yeah.
So that game I told you about, Ragnarok Online, I used to play that way back in the way. So they used to have this competition twice a week. So we have it on Wednesday and on Saturday. You fight for territories, right? And it was a 2-hour fight. Well, I'd record those and make like clips and content, and this was, I think, before it was even cool. But I'd put those together and make long form content videos of the highlights from those battles, which were quite fun. Then I ended up just goofing together and putting together some ESO BG PvP build type videos where it was pretty much abusing the crap out of all the proc sets in the game. But it was fun just putting that type of stuff together and experimenting with it a little bit more. I don't know about long form content so much as snackable short form content with maybe some long form content here and there. Probably be uploading some of my Twitch streams and stuff like that to it. So if anybody prefers viewing it on YouTube, I know there's a lot of people that do have YouTube Premium, so you don't have to suffer through all the commercials. If you did want to go back and watch the VOD or listen to the VOD, you don't have to do it on Twitch. And no, I don't feel like Twitch is the only outlet. I am looking into multi-streaming at the same time. So I haven't built that together. Here's the thing, it's been a lot. It's been a lot since I've started streaming. And while I have a lot of technical experience, so it's not that difficult for me to grasp concepts like adding visualizers and like scrolling text and icons and stuff like that. And I enjoy doing it, but man, it takes some time. And I'm not looking to be like some overnight celebrity or anything like that, or even a celebrity at all for that matter. But it would be nice to, grow my audience a bit more. I'm still on that first 50 follower grind. So go ahead and try to get to affiliate and enjoy some of the benefits of all of the work I'm putting into this stuff.
Yeah, it's rough, but you definitely learn a lot as you go. That's also something I told you before you streamed. It's just, you just got to do it, because there's so many things that you end up learning that you wouldn't have thought of beforehand. Like, you can't just perfect it and just have a perfect stream from day one. It's really rough. There's so many minor things, like even all the stuff that you have right now, for example, that you like the background and whatnot. Like, who would have thought of that? Like, all that before day one, you just have to do it, and it just gets better.
Glad you said something. My Discord server invite has expired. I thought that thing was good forever. How often do they expire? Do you know? By
default they have a certain time period, and then you can set it to permanent. So So if you just made an invite link just by itself, then that would have been one that expires. But yeah. So streaming has a lot of things that people don't really know about, I guess. That's what I like about my stream sometimes too. I've noticed this because some people talk about it. Whenever I do, because I start my I'm also kind of unprepared most times and sometimes lazy. So people saw me set up this whole Twitch stream together earlier before this stream, and that's also kind of interesting. And it's also something that I find interesting too, because at the end of the day, you know, like, watching someone do a perfect run on whatever game and all that, it's all cool. But I like to see the human side of things, you know, like hey, I'm also learning, or I'm trying to grow, and see that whole journey. So for me, it's really interesting to see how people do that. So I love showing people as well, like how I, for example, have the music player and how to set that up and all that, because I'm not saying that mine's perfect or anything, but it's all improvisation. It's just I started off with nothing, and it's really interesting to see how you can curate your stream, because all of this started with nothing. Like I can show you real quick my first beer back scene. This is from like day one. Beer back. This was my beer back scene. It was really bad, of course. It was just kind of a joke kind of thing, but now I've now grown out to having multiple windows, maybe a fancy background, some visualizers. I have a box here that originally was for donations, but I removed that because I don't want that anymore. Music stuff and all that. Now we have seen on this stream, is also thanks to JSlayer, how Twitch guests work as well. So yeah, like, you know, just if you're interested in streaming, just do it. You'll learn over time. Yeah, but the foundations is for sure the Discord link. Discord link is in the chat right now. For the people on YouTube, if there's someone on YouTube watching, JSlayer just posted the link on Twitch, which I will post. I'll post on YouTube then, because I'm also live on YouTube. Yes, haha. Okay, that should work. Yeah, it's been sent.
Yeah, so I was looking at getting a link for my server. I think the only one I could make was the one that expires every 7 days.
There's no
a custom? Are you
there's no way?
Like a custom invite link?
Yeah. I joined your server. Invite people. So if I click on the top left, right, JSlayer server, whatever, it's invite friends to JSlayer server. All the way in the bottom, you have the blue hyperlink, whatever. Edit invite link, and then it should say you should have options there of choosing when it expires and maximum number of uses, which I'll show you a screenshot on Discord.
Oh, edit invite link. Okay.
Oh, you see? Okay, found it. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect. Let's do that, because I don't want it to expire. I'll update the link on my channel now as well.
So I just joined as well. I need to set everything up. I do this for every server. Like, I think I'm not the only one, but I always mute every server with everyone pings. Else it goes wild. Boop, 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 boop. Yeah. Remove this. Yes. Okay, I'm back. Hello. Yes. So Discord. Yeah, Discord's important for sure. Community. Oh, you know what one thing that Twitch is good for, because you have to make the most out of every platform, of course, is raiding. This is also the one tip that I cannot stress enough, but whenever you end stream, just raid someone. Doesn't matter who. Like, raid someone, even if you don't end up talking, whatever, because even if you have one viewer, it still shows that you put in effort into trying to find someone else. Maybe they'll return the favor. It's not always guaranteed, of course, but that's one way where you can get a little bit of additional potential reward out of Twitch, because Twitch by itself doesn't really have much discoverability unless you're playing a game that isn't as popular, so that you're a bit higher on the category. But if you end up raiding someone, then you have a chance of maybe also getting them to be a part of your community. So that's also a big thing.
Sure. I do try to raid every chance I get. Sometimes I'm ready to end the stream and there's only one viewer.
Yeah.
You have to have, I think it is at least 2 viewers before you can raid someone.
Oh, you actually? I didn't know that. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a minimum
Okay.
requirement, so you can't just raid out with your one buddy. That's
Oh,
fine.
okay.
But
Yeah.
yeah, there's a minimum. But yeah, it's I definitely try to raid people. And speaking of raids, I've even set up custom raids for incoming raiders. So if any of some of my favorite known Twitch streamers should raid me,
Okay.
they will get a custom made surprise.
Okay.
Wink, wink.
Okay. That's pretty cool. Yeah. I mean, if you're not live right now, you said, but otherwise I would have. Yeah. I would have. But yeah. It's also for me also, like, yeah, I've had other people talk about this as well, but like, oh, like I'm doing this and that. I'm like, yeah, but I don't know when I'm gonna end stream, dude. I never have an end time of when I end stream. So sometimes I can end really short, sometimes I end really long. So I can never really promise. Not about the raid in particular, but just to be anywhere. Like, or someone's like, hey, do you want to hang out? It's like, yeah, I don't know how long I'm gonna stream. I don't know.
I say I've been exploring the alerts that they've brought to Twitch.
Oh,
and
Twitch has alerts?
I love them. Yeah, they have alerts now.
Oh,
I love them. So they actually. So here's the thing with alerts.
Yeah.
I'm not the type of person that already has a backlog of little gifts or things that already you can use, or music and stuff like that. Of course, I still have like some of the clips of other stuff, but like I don't have a lot of that stuff built up. So when I was using things like Stream Elements, they didn't have anything in a library where it's like, hey, choose from these. We already have these here. No, it's upload what you have or you got nothing.
Yeah.
So it was like, oh, okay. But when Twitch did theirs, they're like, hey, here's a library of stuff. And even some of them are seasonally, relevant. I was like, oh, that's really cool. I can add this to my channel for the seasonal relevance. And I had like, unfortunately, nobody followed after I added these alerts, but I had some Halloween-y themed things that would have popped up on the screen and everything. So it was really cool that they actually included that and made that available. And it's like, wow, they're really trying to become their own full-fledged platform.
I think that's good. Yeah. Like you mentioned as well. I don't know if it was you or if it was someone else, but someone mentioned that you can just stream with Twitch just by itself already. Like you just have a base. Well, actually, I think it was Admiral Crunch Guy. Like it basically gives you a webcam block on the bottom left, and all you have to do is just go live, and then you're done. Like obviously edit your title and stuff, but you are able to stream with very very minimal things, and it's good that they do that. Yeah.
It's been really sobering looking at some of the streamers who have very minimalistic setups, right?
Yeah.
Like I'm talking game, no cam, just voice.
Yeah.
And they do fine. Even then, so some of them, thousands of followers, they don't even talk. I'm like,
we're going for that. We're going for that topic.
Like, how, bro? Where you? Come on.
It's a little bit of the.
Sus.
Yeah, like I don't know how much I can really talk about that topic, but I've noticed this with some people that I know as well, that I know normally like wouldn't really, like they wouldn't get as much viewers, and then it just bumps up to 50 for no reason, let's say, right? And it's just a consistent one. And then like the thing is, I'm very curious, right? Like I will never ever call someone out for that, like, because the thing is, if it's legal, then why not, right? If it's a gray zone area with for say embedded viewers and stuff, then why not? Then I should also use that tool myself, right? Until it is no longer legal. That's how I feel about it. Because if you can do it, then why not? But I'm also naturally curious about like how people progress in things, not just streaming, but also in life in general. So I always check for details and all that. I did notice that actually like an overwhelming amount of streamers kind of like they either go that way of the legal embeds, or they do the hard illegal view botting straight away, because it is very noticeable in people's Twitch trackers that it's public access, anyone can check it out. You can check out exactly how, for example, my stream has been doing over the last couple of years, and see the details of every single day and all that. And sometimes, most of the time, you're going to see some shady shit, man. I'm not gonna lie. You're gonna see some shady shit. Like some people that just jump up from like having 2 viewers that suddenly have 50. It's like that doesn't make any sense. We're like, where's the growth in that, right? Like you can't just have consistent 50 viewers out of nowhere. Plus, people don't even talk in the chat. So like that's also a very bad thing. I think. Yeah.
It's been enlightening for me because like I'll see these people.
That's how it is. Yeah.
It's like you have 15,000 followers, right?
Yeah.
Prime time of the day you're streaming, and there are like 20 people watching that particular streamer. It's like
the follower thing I can understand though, because
those 50,000 people, like what?
Yeah, because like I had this talk about with someone. I'm really sorry to interrupt, but this touches a really personal thing of mine. Like for example, I have 3,000 followers, right? That's just fact. So how much I have right now, I don't know if it's like a little bit more than that, but it's 3,000 minimum. I also don't really get that many views. But I know from the choices that I've made for streaming and all that it slowly went down over time because I just happened to make the wrong decisions. Like it mostly came from streaming one single game, and I no longer really stream that game, although I am returning to it now, but that's besides the point. So I can easily see people that have those type of amount of followers to not have as many active viewers in their chat that like end up with like also like 5 or 10 viewers, even though they have like thousands of followers. I actually do. That's pretty legitimate, I would say, because the follower count doesn't really describe much of how active your community is at all, I feel.
Right. While I do feel like it's legitimate, I'm not saying there's there's something sus or spooky going on here, but I do feel like it's a huge disparity when it comes to what advertisers come to expect when you say I have this level of followers.
Yeah.
And I think honestly, it's really driving the market for streamers and the like down a peg. So I recently read this article about how Twitch was getting out of the business. Twitch and YouTube were getting out of the business of bidding and competing for these top streamers who had these followers that they were expecting. I saw a spider a while ago, so I'm spooked out right now. But no, it's good. But like they're getting out of these multi-million-dollar deals, and they're not doing that anymore because they're not seeing the ROI. So these advertisers realizing you're advertising to bots, bro. You got scammed, right? Like you're showing your commercials to bots. So where's the return on that? So when they look at other advertising avenues and they're seeing greater returns there, you drift and you shift away from the legal view botting. Whether it's legal or not doesn't change their profitability to those that you plan to make money off of. So it's legal, but fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. So they're not going to come back around to get fooled twice with that nonsense. So it's like, no, you're not selling anything here. You're not really giving me that exposure that I need to take my products to the next place. I think that's where Twitch and all platforms are ultimately going to have that come to reality grounding moment to say, okay, we got to do something because we're going to start seeing advertisers block out or lower their prices and be like, hey, this is all we're willing to give you guys.
But I think another big point to never forget as well, that like for people always talk shit about streamers doing these things for like more viewers and whatnot, but at the end of the day, it's also in Twitch's best interest to have these bots watch the ads and stuff, because they also make money off this as well. So like there's nothing much is going to change, but nothing much. I feel like nothing much is going to change unless there's a reason for Twitch to actually not hunt is the word, but like to change it so where they can get more out of a situation where these are legitimate views.
Bots don't buy product though, and that's where
that's true.
Advertisers who are paying the bills are going to say, this isn't helping us. We sold 100,000 units without advertising with you. With advertising with you, we sold 101,000 units. Like the return is not there. better suited in putting that money in other areas like R&D or other forms of advertising. That's where like you have something like say television or radio or whatever the other avenue is that may be able to gain some more traction, or just advertising on websites that are popular because of little side banner exposure, right? Or Facebook or TikTok or whatever the platform is. Long format content may not be the future of what people are looking to consume. And I think honestly that is the truth. I think with the lower emphasis on long format, very short, quick to the point type of content, I think the masses are definitely gonna blow things like TikTok up. And right now, I think I just read an article that said TikTok is the #1 search engine for the youngest generation. So when people go look for information, they don't go to Google anymore. They go to TikTok. It's crazy.
The thing is, you know, like, cause I'm also a TikTok user myself. You know, like obviously there's two sides of what type of person you are, if you like TikTok or not, right? That's how I feel with it. Either you like it or you're completely against it. Or like, okay, whatever, half in between, but that's not relevant for this. What I will say is that there are good things about TikTok, but it's also very much the wild west when it comes to information and everything. Like, yes, you can get really good tips or like certain information that you wouldn't have found otherwise if you just did some random Googling and all that off TikTok. But at the same time, you don't really have a lot of sources that you can look up after that video to really see if it's true or not. So you kind of have to take everything with a grain of salt, but sometimes you can get really valuable information out of it, or just entertainment as well can be a big thing. The one thing, sorry, what?
No, go ahead.
Oh.
I thought you were done.
For creating content though, I've noticed, and I looked a bit more into it myself, because again, like I'm very curious as to how things work in general with everything. I noticed that in TikTok, you kind of get put into a creator hell, let's say, where you will only get a maximum amount of views between 200 and 300, and you can easily look this up for most people. I didn't know that this was a thing until a video enlightened me on this, and then I just started looking at other people's videos that claimed they had the same thing. It was like, yeah, you know what? I'm not the only creator that's stuck at 200, 300 views, because apparently what happens then, and this is where, like, I don't know if it's really true, but it kind of does make sense, is you get put there because what TikTok then does is spam you with advertisements of like, hey, have you used our TikTok promote, or where you pay us and then we push it out to more people, right? Now most people's advice would be to just ignore that, just keep making content, and eventually it'll go past it. I don't know how long this TikTok jail is gonna last, but that's really bad when that happens, because yes, I am noticing this with my videos too. YouTube, I feel like it's a bit more, it makes sense that sometimes I get good videos, sometimes I get bad videos, right? I don't have over the top success or anything, but it's just it's enough to kind of see and learn from like what should I add in my videos and that kind of stuff. TikTok, however, is as much as content as there is, which I think is good, is also there's a lot of things that I'm not really sure about, of like how like if everyone gets treated equally and stuff, because there's also been creators, for example, that have complained about signing up for the long form content contract, whatever, where they get paid more if they do long form content. I don't know exactly how the thing works, but then basically they sign up, and then the moment they sign up for that, they end up actually getting less views and less reach and everything, and it's just they get paid less too, even though it was supposed to be better for them, because TikTok kind of like outplays them in a way. Like it's straight up they just outplay them to get more money for themselves. That's one thing that I do not like about TikTok, because it's definitely noticeable that if you're trying to break out in the entertainment or whatever side of TikTok, that you can actually it can work against you, and it's really hard to get yourself out of it. But YouTube is a bit more organized, I guess, with that, and it's like it makes sense as to why some of my videos don't have any views or why some of them do. Yeah. Sorry, that's I don't know where I was going with this, but yeah.
LeVant says, "What's a TikTok?" So, it's interesting that you say this, LeVant. I have another question.
Yeah.
If the site was Twitter...
Sorry, you cut out for a second.
Oh, okay. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
If the site is called Twitter, well, it's X now, but it was Twitter.
Yeah.
why is it a tweet and not a twit?
Yes. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. I mean, a lot of things don't make sense. Let's be real. Yeah.
I saw the short the other day. He was like, if what was it? Vegetable oil comes from vegetables. Sunflower oil comes from sunflowers. Where does baby oil come from?
Yeah. I have to get more into YouTube Shorts, man, because I'm still at the part of YouTube Shorts where it just recommends me very generic, random, broad things that are not of interest to me whatsoever. I've used TikTok for so long that it's very refined videos that I know that most of the videos I'll probably like. I'm not yet at that part of YouTube, but I've also not really focused that much on YouTube Shorts. But it's the same thing anyway. Both TikTok and YouTube do the same thing with like refining the taste of videos and just giving that to you.
Yeah, I think I do want to do more with the shorts, but I don't think I want to do much with the long form content.
No.
I just don't know that that's the wave. I think honestly, and it
Depends.
has to do with, I think a lot of people struggling with attention, retaining.
That's the word.
For an
Retention. Yes. Yeah.
So yeah, like there are a lot of people out there who have been underserviced as a community that needed that short burst of here you are, boom, 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 right? And that's really good for them. Like for me, don't get me wrong, I love attention, retention, deficit. Say that 10 times fast. But yeah, there are people that have really been underserved as a community for needing something like that that's snackable, that they can get right to the point.
Yeah.
30 seconds to a minute, consume and move on with what they want to do. Also for people who are short on time, like time is talk about how much time you really get to game. And somebody like myself, who's I'll say I'm a casual gamer because I don't get a ton of time to game. So yeah, for me, watching streamers game is also satiating my desire to game because I don't get to focus fully on it, but I do get to have that experience as well, sharing what they're doing at the time. Yeah.
You mentioned short form and long form as to like what you think is the best. It really depends on what you do, because I feel like if you want to do long form content, you have to work a bit more on the quality side of things. Whereas with the shorts, the short form content is really just how much shit can you throw out there. That's how I see it. Yeah.
It's really, but the ROI isn't there in my opinion for those long form videos. So it's better to get, well, I won't say better. It's probably easier to get 10,000 views on 10 videos than it is to get 10,000 views on one long video.
Yeah.
And even then, so who's
too many risks
watching that video through till the end when it's beyond 30 minutes? Like 30 minutes is probably a hard cap for a lot of videos. When you get into that hour plus long video,
minus 10 at most.
Yeah, you're in like a rough space, right? So I was looking at this Darktide lore video earlier today. The video was probably 50 minutes long. Dude, probably about 25 minutes in, I was like, okay, I'm gonna have to finish this later. But it's too long in some regards. Like I get it, they all have their place, but it's too long. But it does make me wonder what the future entails for society when we have a society that is a microwave society and they need everything right now. They can't wait. They have no patience. And patience is actually quite a lucrative thing to have. So I remember my entrance into IT was just based around the fact that I could read the instruction manual, right? So I could read the instruction manual. All I would do all day was explain to people who didn't want to read what they needed to know. So it was weird because it was like, dude, all you have to do is read the quick start guide, but cool. I'll take this, what was it at the time, like $15 an hour just to tell people how to install their printers. easy peasy job. It shouldn't exist, right? It shouldn't exist.
Yeah.
Only thing that we should have really been doing was helping people who had broken stuff, broken equipment, stuff that arrived defective. No, people just couldn't read. I mean, people wouldn't read the error message on the screen. This printer doesn't print. What does it say on the screen? Out of paper. Put the paper in the printer, bro. Like,
yeah. It is sad, but true. Yeah.
Making this stuff up, and it's very basic.
Yeah.
So like, I honestly think about the shape of what humanity may be facing in the future, and with there being less of a drive for skilled and knowledgeable people, because AI will be filling a lot of that void. What can you do?
Yeah.
Like, what can you do? I don't know. What do you have to offer? Well, I can't wait on anything. I can't do anything long form. I don't have the attention span for anything. Like, what can you do?
It is definitely, it is a skill that is very difficult to master, that I am nowhere near at all, to make long form content, man, because it's hard keeping people's attention all the time. It's really hard. You know who I watched about that, and he had a talk about it, a short talk. I can't remember where exactly, but it was actually Mr. Beast, like a very normal source of entertainment, right? I was like, it makes sense, because he was also talking about like, oh man, because I think it was a podcast episode of, I can't remember, but he was also talking about like, what we're talking about right now, like it won't keep people's attention, that kind of stuff. And it makes sense, because if you want to really live that life of YouTube and everything, you have everything you say has to be of interest, where you can hook people into to just keep listening more and more and more. And there's so much thought that goes into it that people don't understand, because anyone can make a gameplay video of like, oh, I got 10 kills in this, and then like that's that. But like, how interesting is that really? Like, but if you really put in the time in mastering, like even the way you present yourself, or like the speech that you have, the pauses in between. And then you have to think about the topics and all that. You can't just stutter your way through. You can't do the ums and all that kind of stuff. There's so much that goes into it that most people don't actually realize. So it's definitely a skill that is very hard to master, for sure. Short form content, however, that's when you don't have to deal with as many risks, because it's short form content, right? A long video, like, you have to be able to maintain people's attention at all times. That's rough. Short video, not so much. So yeah,
part to me is like, how do you push that envelope? Because everybody wants to be that next new thing, right? And
dude,
you can
that's the thing.
Push and push and push and push,
yeah,
until it's like, what do we have left? Like, what is Amaranth not already doing? Like, what is
yeah,
what are these people not already putting out there at the most extreme levels, right? So now that new and edgy thing might just be some dude being on the internet talking like a regular person, because everybody else is wacky and zany and over the top, doing all this out of the world bizarro stuff for attention.
Yeah. I have something interesting to tell, a short story. I was talking about this with Paige, who I often talk about for stream related stuff and all that. And it really got me thinking, because I was already aware, of course, and like most people as well, that let's say you play Warzone, Valorant, or whatever, and you make average videos, that then you're gonna get average results, right? However, what the trick is to grow, which I have to focus on a lot more when I play games, and I've been trying that a little bit more yesterday, for those that remembered me playing Elder Scrolls Online, because I tried to like bring out a lot of random topics to talk about. But it's like, I am not going to be an esports person, so I will not be able to give the gameplay that people would come to watch for like that type of quality. What I can do, however, is to shift the focus and to talk about other things that might be interesting to people. So like, for example, I was playing Elder Scrolls Online. Now, how many streamers, including myself, have played Endless Archive? A lot, right? How many people are interesting to watch? That's another. And what is interesting to watch? Then you have to ask yourself, well, gameplay wise, there's only so much variety that you can have, right? So then it is very important to talk about other random topics or stories that you've come across. And that's also a skill kind of that you have to learn, to just socialize and just talk to people and talk about whatever, which is also hard, because I also didn't really start off being very social. So she gave me an example of a streamer where there were multiple channels of this person, and it's a well-known streamer, but not well known that everybody knows it, let's say. And most of the clips were really just random moments that happened that have nothing to do with the game whatsoever, where it's basically just, it's almost like a talk show where he plays a game, but people are there just to hear him talk kind of stuff. And that sets you apart. So like if you have videos that where you just get like, oh, look at me getting a kill streak in Call of Duty or something, it's like, that's not as interesting for you to stand out. Like you'll get average results because it's an average video. So if you want to stand out, you need to make outstanding content, which is do something else. And that's a risk to take as well. That's a risk because, you know, if you're not really confident with what you can do, then you'll fall in that trap of getting average results with average videos. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I honestly, myself personally, I don't have grandiose designs for, like, I don't know, running away with Twitch as a career or whatever. But I do like sprucing up and trying to make my stream my own and create my own little lane because I feel like I'm in an underserved community myself to some extent. So to give some background on myself, like it was weird growing up in a time where technology was still just kind of new and coming to the forefront, and to be in like an impoverished area, to put it nicely, right? So like it wasn't really cool. Like there was nobody to talk to. There was nobody that liked anime with me. There was nobody that liked technology as much as I did, really. And the only person that really kind of helped drive that passion for me was the teacher at school that I had. So now it's like, man, I really want to connect with people who are in a similar vein of just, you know, hey, we want to have fun, we want to have a good time. I don't want to be vulgar. I don't want to be over the top with, you know, like all this other stuff. Like, yeah, there'll be some slight tongue-in-cheek joking, but like ultimately I want my content to be approachable to all the people and
yeah,
have everybody enjoy gaming together. I just hope that, you know, like with all the slippery slopes of generational combativeness between like boomers, zoomers, millennials, gen this, gen that, all this, it's like we're all gamers.
Yeah,
have fun. Who cares how old you are or what you did when you did what? Like, just have a good time. Like that's what I'm here for, and that's what I want to do with my channel, and that's kind of the community that I want to build.
Yeah, I would like to kind of wrap it up here. Yeah. Sorry, I just looked at the time and everything. Yes. Normally the goal is 1 to 2 hours ish, but but we are having a really good conversation though, I think. So I did have a really good time.
Me too.
Yes, super random, but I just got reminded of the time. So real quick as well. Yeah, any last words? Where can we find you? What can we expect and so on? Anything you want to say?
As usual, all the socials are here. You can see my Twitch, my YouTube, and my Twitter. I'll be posting more on Twitter in the coming days, and I want to actually try to expand some things. I do have the Discord link on the chat here. If you haven't joined already, come join the Discord. I'd love to have you guys chat around, contribute to the community. We're just looking to grow a good group of gamers who want to have a good time and play some good games. So definitely enjoyed being here. Thanks for having me on your platform, Z. I know it's kind of a thing to introduce someone to your community. You know, it takes some effort, and I appreciate you taking the effort. And
thank you.
Be here, especially while we're trying to figure out this new stream together technology.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
I think we did all right today.
Yeah, all is good. Everything works. Although I will say there's sometimes a little bit of hiccup with the thing, which I think I've never had that with Discord, but I had other issues with Discord, of course. Will I use this? I think actually it's pretty good for a guest feature on top of the thing that is very important that nobody should forget. But Jay Slayer mentioned, I don't know if it's true, but I believe him, that but if a guest messes up by like doing some outrageous stuff and all that Twitch will go after them and not after the streamer. That's because that was my biggest concern before. Like I wouldn't just have random people.
I'll send you a screenshot. They actually mentioned it on the.
Oh, they mentioned. Okay.
Yeah, like it's spelled out clearly.
Okay. Yeah. I actually want to pull that up before I end then as well.
Okay.
So let's do that right now.
Go to the creator dashboard and you see on the streaming together section.
Oh.
They have 1, 2, and 3, and it's like, yeah, you may know.
Oh, you won't be. Oh yeah.
One stream on 2. You see it?
Yeah, I see it. Okay, so I can't show this because this is on my dashboard, which I'm not logged in for the stream browser. But it does say, and I'll read it. You won't be banned for guest behavior. Your guests are on the hook. Sorry, a little bit of beer. Your guests are on the hook for their own behavior, not you. Every guest has their own phone-verified Twitch account and are subject to our community guidelines. So yes, I'm actually thinking like, I might as well do more guest stuff then, because why not? Might be fun. The thing is, it's gonna show up weird right now, but actually I'm not gonna show it. But I have scenes for multiple people as well. So if you would like to do this in the future, we can also do that. But we'll talk about that in private somewhere. But yeah, then like it'd be really cool to have guests. Although I don't know who would be interested, but we'll find a way, and we can have multiple people because now this is a really good way of doing that. Yeah.
Yeah, and who knows? Maybe if we have another one in the future, I can tell you about Penhurst Asylum.
Oh yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
Awesome.
All right, keep that one.
That
yes.
story it's a legit story, and I don't know if you can tell from the photo, but I was dressed as a priest too, so I went as a priest, and it was fun. It was absolutely a blast.
Or how about this? What I think I know what I'm gonna do. So I'm gonna end the stream, but if you would like to tell a story, I'm gonna keep it up. But I'm gonna say goodnight to my girlfriend real quick. So I would end the YouTube portion, but we can still keep on talking, and we can consider this exclusive content. Yes. And I don't know if you want to post this somewhere or whatever. Yeah, sounds good. Sounds good.
Yeah, it sounds good.
All right. So for the YouTube people, I'm gonna set it to end now. Yeah, and thank you so much for being here, and we'll be right back then with some exclusive content. Yes. Wow. All right, be right back.